The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
A very good afternoon to you from Celtic Park ahead of this final fixture of the Premiership season, which of course doubles up as well as party time for the Celtic supporters. They will get the trophy right here in a couple of hours' time. The Aberdeen players have just given their Celtic counterparts a guard of honour there as they made their way onto the pitch, led by their captain Callum McGregor. Graham Shinney leading Aberdeen for the last time in his loan spell from Wigan. And I know that the club and he are very keen on him returning for next campaign. Quite incredible stadium-wide tifo here from the Celtic supporters. It's an amazing sight, actually. Just about every single one of the 60,000, save for the small pocket of Aberdeen fans off to our right, has taken part in this, holding up banners and flags. On the far side in the north stand it says "Stand on the shoulders of giants." I think off to the left is the massive tifo of the Celtic legendary manager Jock Stein. It's difficult to see everything because we've got supporters in front of us who are taking part in it as well, but we're just about ready to go. I'll keep you up to date with what's happening elsewhere, and we will get regular updates from Brian at Tynecastle and that Edinburgh derby that will settle fourth place and confirm Europe for the side who emerges there, as Aberdeen did the other night. Of course, fifth place could and probably should be good enough for European football as well. That depends on how Cally Thistle done against this all-conquering Celtic team this season. The home players break away from their huddle. The Celtic supporters now throwing on all those banners and flags towards the pitch. It is a party atmosphere, and Aberdeen will hope Celtic don't enjoy it as much as they did 12 months ago when they put 6 unanswered goals past Motherwell on the final day. It's Aberdeen who kick off, all in red with the white pinstripes on the jerseys, going right to left. Celtic in the green and white hoops, as you would expect, will shoot left to right towards the Lisbon Lions stand. And it is Iwata to Starfelt. Iwata back in at centre-back today. Kobayashi nowhere to be seen, and of course Carter Vickers' season over. They have got Alistair Johnston back, that's a bonus for them. Not so much for today, but ahead of the cup final next week. He's been out since the semis as Johnston looks for Kyogo. He's in behind McDonald already, and he shanks his effort wide out towards the far side. What an opportunity it was. Kyogo playing on the line as he loves to do, in behind McDonald, and it's a major let-off for Aberdeen inside the opening minute of the game here.
I think it would have been offside, but just look for it here, Willie, do you?
I do, yeah.
Just was on the wrong side of him. He's got to do better, actually, the position he's in.
Yeah, it's a real chance. It's a real... even though if the flag had gone up...
It's a warning.
Yeah, it's still a warning and it's still a let-off.
Yeah, well, you know what you're going to get off him. You're going to get movement. He wants to, play that, kind of a line, just in line with the centre-backs and then run in behind. And I think it was McDonald that didn't pick him up, and he's just popped him behind him. But I'm with Jim. For me, it's offside. The linesman didn't put his flag up at all, which surprised me. But he should have done better. He should have at least tested Roos in goal.
Header from Hayes up towards the left angle of the Celtic box, cleared by O'Reilly, who wins it off Ramadani on this near side. O'Reilly rolls it back to Johnston. He in turn goes back to Joe Hart. 6 changes in the Celtic starting 11 from the one beaten 4-2 at Hibernian on Wednesday evening. And we have come down through the gears recently, but you expect Celtic to be better today. This with the optics of the afternoon as Abada picks up on the near side, rolls it to Johnston. O'Reilly's in space, right hand side of the box, level with the 6-yard line. Across it comes, away off the knee of McDonald, I think, on the 6-yard line, picked up on the left. Taylor, low ball, Hatate with the back heel. McGregor at the edge of the box shoots, and it's blocked as well. Celtic coming forward with menace. The flick from O'Reilly, too much on it. It's going to go behind for the goal kick. Couldn't find Johnston. And it's a goal kick for the visitors. 2.5 in, 0-0. It's quite the atmosphere inside here.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, it's a fantastic atmosphere to play in, to be tested in, I think, if you're Aberdeen coming down and, savouring the opportunity, on title winning day. The trophy's going to be presented after the game as well, packed to Celtic Park. What's not to like about it? You should be absolutely as high as a kite, want to play in this type of game, and you just hope that Aberdeen, can make a game of it. The early signs are that Celtic are very much in fire. Another opportunity with O'Reilly getting in behind there, very dangerous. That's 2 chances that they have had, 2 chances to put Aberdeen to the sword, and haven't taken any of them.
Free kick here for Aberdeen just inside Celtic territory. Johnny Hayes was brought down by O'Reilly's. Felt the full force of it. Hayes is limping pretty heavily at the moment as Leighton Clarkson stands over the free kick, and he's been magnificent for Aberdeen. One of the best loan signings I think the club's ever made, and Leighton Clarkson, as he waits to take this. There might be good news on the Clarkson front to come for the Aberdeen supporters as flights the free kick into the box. McCrory and Pollock at the back end of the 6-yard box. Neither could get onto it. Celtic clear. Kept alive over on the far side by the Dons, and it's Ramadani back into the centre circle for Hayes, who looks up, clips the long ball down the left-hand touchline here for Leighton Clarkson. Clarkson has it level with the 18, gets the ball across, away by Starfelt. Flags up on the far side anyway, I think against Watkins, and Starfelt annoyed because Alan Muir, the referee, stopped play to give the free kick for the offside rather than a Celtic advantage, as O'Reilly gets it from Johnston. And then back to the Canadian, who moves it infield to Iwata. You would have to say, Jim, if Aberdeen are going to test Celtic today, they'll probably try and target Tomoki Iwata at centre-back.
I'm just sitting there thinking that if they've been watching Celtic the last few weeks, the aerial game is the way to get at them. They're no strong in the air at all.
Here's Abada driving forward. He's managed to squeeze it into the box for O'Reilly, looking for some space. Aberdeen closing him down, though. And McKenzie dumps it out for a throw-in over on this near side. Last time Aberdeen were here, Willie, they conceded 4 goals. They've only conceded, I think it's 3 goals since then. Yeah. Which is incredible.
Well, they've been very strong at the back. They've played with the 5, and again, here this afternoon, it's a very disciplined back 5. There's no doubt about it. It's a straight line. I think the issue for them is not to go into their box and play that 5 at the back. They've got to try and, as much as possible, push out, with obviously, taking into account the room behind them. But if you sit in the box there, and yes, they're bodies, and they're throwing bodies in front of any strike that's came so far, inevitably something's going to break.
It's 3 goals from open play. 1 was a penalty, so 4 since they lost 4 here in February. Just the 3 from open play, the 2 at Tynecastle last week and that one at Ibrox. As McGregor rolls it to Hatate on that far side. Aberdeen then pinned back inside their own half here as Hatate collects. Only Joe Hart inside the Celtic half right now. Here's Callum McGregor just playing it forward there to Hatate. Lovely shuffle away from Clarkson, moving up towards the edge of the penalty area. Reo Hatate looks to push it through to the left hand side of the box for Jota. It's cut out. Hatate has it back though, but he's given it away straight to Ramadani as Watkins picks it up for Aberdeen on the far side. Gets away from Callum McGregor, then he's brought to the ground crashing by Carl Starfelt, and that will be a free kick to Aberdeen right of the centre circle. Thumbs up from Steve Agnew to Marley Watkins there, and Ilber Ramadani, although Celtic gave it away, the Dons made good use of it. 6 minutes in, Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
I thought he did really well. Watkins, he was on his own up there. He was asked to, well, I'm saying up there up there in his own half, but he had to get it under control, and it was all little touches, and Starfelt coming in. It was quite a untimely tackle, wasn't it? It took Watkins out of the game. The referee had to have a word with the centre back. I think that's all that was required.
Johnston winning off Hayes on this near side. Zabada skipping away from Shinnie. Now he fancies his chances driving down the right hand touchline. Away from Clarkson, away from McKenzie. Still Abada goes. Crosses in great, but it's very deep, and that's come off an arm. That's going to be a penalty. That looked like a handball. The referee's not spotted it. It's going to be initially given as a corner, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is brought back by the VAR.
That'll be checked, Liam. It's got to be checked. I mean, from here it looked as though it's come off somewhere, the top part of the arm. They've got to check it. We're quite far away from it, but certainly from where we're sitting, it looked like McCrory has put an arm on it.
Let's go quickly to Leanne.
Yeah, it's come off the top of his arm, Liam. No penalty, definitely off the shoulder.
Yeah, the check's just over. Corner only. Comes back, short corner to McGregor. Then out to the left-hand side for O'Reilly's level with the penalty spot as he plays it along the grass. Back to McGregor, square ball for Hatate. It's all Celtic at the moment. Hatate, then Jota across the face of the goal with the shot. It was wide of the right-hand post. 7.5 in. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0. Celtic have done everything but score though, and of course they scored inside 3 minutes of the season opening match against Aberdeen here through Stevie Welsh from a corner. They couldn't profit on this occasion, but it's another opportunity, Jim McInally, for Celtic.
It's been a fantastic start for Celtic. They look really sharp, they look really at it, and it could be a long day for Aberdeen if Celtic score soon.
Long ball comes all the way through to Duke. He's got his back to goal. He's taking on McGregor. He's shielding the ball from O'Reilly, and he rolls it out to the right from McCrory. Ross McCrory stepping in field. Good play. He's found Clarkson. Little disguised ball, Shinnie. Now it's Watkins. Back to Graham Shinnie. Couldn't quite get it into a position where he would have been able to shoot, and Celtic get it away. Good play though from Aberdeen that time. Hayes in field to Shinnie. He moves it back to Jack McKenzie, who's in for Liam Scales, who's ineligible to face his parent club today. McDonald taking a chance up against Kyogo. He's done well to stab it out to McKenzie, with Kyogo looking to win it back, and Hayes brought down again by Alistair Johnston. That's going to be another Aberdeen free kick, this time just inside their own half, down below us in front of Barry Robson's dugout. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0, 9 minutes in, and Johnny Hayes has come in for some rough treatment at his old home here, Willie.
Yeah, he took a sure one there. You know, I didn't think there was any intention. It's a very delicate place that he's taken the sure one as well, so it will take him a little bit of time to recover. I thought McDonald maybe taking a little bit of a chance there with Kyogo very quickly to put him under pressure. It looked as though perhaps he slipped too. So did Kyogo, fortunately for the centre back, but I wouldn't advise him to take too many chances like that in the game.
Clarkson with the free kick. He's looking to pump it long for McCrory. Does get his head to it. Iwata nods it clear out to the left hand side of his box, and Hatate's there, and he does well. Works a lovely 1-2 there with Taylor. Here's McGregor to Iwata inside his own box. There's been a goal in the big game at Tynecastle, the final Edinburgh derby of the season. Brian McLaughlin.
It's a goal for Hearts. Yutara Oda with his first goal for the club. A long throw by James Hill, knocked down Oda on the edge of the 18-yard box, rifling the ball low beyond Marshall. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 0.
Hearts strike first then, and big favourites, you would think, now to finish in 4th spot. Hibs need to win that game, of course, and they are behind. And Yutara Oda, who actually has been very good recently since Stephen Naismith deployed him out on the right-hand side of the Hearts front line, has got his first for the club, as Brian was saying there. 10 minutes in, 0-0 here at Celtic Park. Goalless still in Paisley between St Mirren and Rangers. And that goal from Oda, the first of the final top 6 fixtures. The bottom 6 to come tomorrow, including that massive match at Rugby Park between Kilmarnock and Ross County. Full coverage on Sunday Sports Sound. Celtic in possession here. Starfelt moves it left to right of the centre circle for Iwata, who steps forward and rolls it to Johnston. Infield to Hatate, first time to O'Reilly. It comes off Hayes and out for a throw into Celtic. 11 goalless minutes in here. Aberdeen had a brief flurry forwards just before that goal at Tynecastle, but it's been primarily all Celtic as Taylor clips the ball into the Aberdeen box. Hayes is the covering player up against Abada, and he decides to just hook it into the main stand, where a supporter heads it back onto the pitch, and Johnston takes the throw in, bowling it back to Iwata, who finds Starfelt. Forward to Taylor. Those inverted fullbacks have done some job for Ange Postecoglou over the last couple of seasons. So Johnston finds McGregor level with 18. McGregor skipping back the way, moving an infield central area for Hatate, who finds Taylor at the edge of the D, out muscled by Matty Pollock, who's been such an impressive signing for Aberdeen, on loan from Watford. As he goes back, Watkins to Pollock, long ball. That's going to come all the way through to Carl Starfelt. To Celtic retain easy possession back here, 12 minutes in, 0-0.
Well, you got to try and keep possession. I'm talking about Aberdeen on this occasion, and Paul giving it away far too easily there. I think at times you've got to, you know, be brave at the back. It's okay, you know, threading these 5 right across there, but you know, as I said, if you keep getting pounded, then the concentration perhaps goes.
Great skill by Abada away from Hayes, gets the ball into the corridor there, but no Celtic player could get in the end of it, and it's a comfortable take in the end for Keller Roos. But that, someone's attacking that near post area there, then Roos could have been in trouble.
Kyogo, that's usually his territory. He usually looks to it across the front of the goalkeeper. He's an old-fashioned striker like that. But getting back to what Willie was saying about Aberdeen being braver, especially at the back. It was amazing last week. Willie St Mirren never ever played out to the back, but done particularly well, if you know what I mean. So there's still you can still do it without taking these chances.
There's Johnston looking to get it in behind Hayes for Abada. Hayes, of course, even though he's getting on now, he is no slouch. He's able to rifle it clear with the right foot. Underneath it, Starfelt's header. Can't find Johnston. And out it goes for a throw-in on this near side for Aberdeen. There was a nice touch here at Celtic Park before kick-off the Lisbon line. Jim Craig was reintroduced to the Celtic supporters just before the two sets of players made their way out onto the pitch. Of course, the Celtic's biggest legends. Kellaroos under pressure from Kyogo. He gets it away with the right foot. Looking for McCrory on the far side. It's actually come off Taylor's head, but did drop to Ramadani, but McGregor pinches it off him. Finds Starfelt. He goes back to Joe Hart, and it's a side foot ball forward to O'Reilly. He goes back to Starfelt. 13.5 in, 0-0. Celtic playing out from the back as they like to do. Here's Iwata, and he knocks it forward to Johnston. Johnston then low ball into the centre circle for Hatate. Good defending by Pollock as he wins it back and passes it back to McKenzie. He goes back to Roos, who launches it forward with the left foot. And a little push and Hayes by Johnston. The referee's happy with it though. As McGregor goes to Starfelt, into the left of the circle, it's Taylor forward to Hatate. Celtic trying to weave their way through. It is Hatate to Johnston, and then onto this near side for Abada, level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box. Sure, McGregor was the intended target, but it goes to Taylor. Instead, it's now at the feet of the Celtic skipper. It's Clarkson nicks it off Hatate, and Duke picks up on this near side. He's been on the periphery of the game. As Luis Lopez has done well to get away from three Celtic players. He couldn't find Graham Shinney though, and it breaks back to Iwata. And now it's with Starfelt. 14.5 minutes in, 0-0 at Celtic Park. Willie Miller.
Yeah, there's a lot of hard work going on out there by the Aberdeen players. They're having to be very much concentrated, organised. They are organised at the back. They have been very much organised with that back five, the three in the midfield, and then the two outlets up front. You know, but there has to be fully concentrated. There has to be, you know, at the very top of their game. I think so far they've tamed Celtic, to be perfectly honest. I think as long as they can keep Celtic, you know, making the side passes and the passes back the park, then that's fine. It's the ones in behind that are going to hurt you, in my opinion. And after that early, you know, 2 or 3 opportunities, then I think Aberdeen's dealt with it particularly well. And, you know, Celtic sometimes just can get into that rhythm, Jim, where, you know, they just want to keep, but they're not hurting the opposition. They just want to keep possession. I think they need to try and hurt Aberdeen a little bit more.
That's what I was saying, Willie, earlier when we were speaking about how exciting they've been, etc, etc. Sometimes they don't work the goalkeeper enough, the opposition goalkeeper enough, and I think especially recently you can come off and the other team's goalkeeper's not made enough saves.
It's Johnston for Celtic. Again, he's trying to get a bad in behind Hayes. He gives it straight to Johnny Hayes though, as McKenzie passes it to Hayes, who clears out for a Celtic throw-in, which Johnston takes quickly. Hayes with a challenge on Abada. Cushion header, McGregor. Shinney wins it back brilliantly for Aberdeen, and now Ilber Ramadani coming away with it. He's on the halfway line, rolls it out towards Duke. Shinney now takes it on, and he is charged to the ground there by Hatate, shoulder to shoulder. Shinney goes down, Hatate emerges with the ball, and now it's O'Reilly on this near side. O'Reilly back to Johnston on the Celtic right, and infield to Iwata. Celtic unbeaten in 43 home league games, 49 overall domestically since losing to St Mirren here in January 2021. It's an awesome record as Hatate finds Jota to Hatate, then to Jota. But I remember a really threadbare Aberdeen team coming here when Celtic were over 70 home games unbeaten under Martin O'Neill, and winning through a late David Zidrilic goal. 19 years since that. This is incredible. Aberdeen actually came here and won their next game at Celtic Park under Jimmy Calderwood. The previous one was under Steve Patterson. Zawata collects and shifts it right to left of the circle for Starfelt. Again, Aberdeen with everyone behind the ball. McGregor, loose pass, cut out by Shinney. Now it will go for a throw-in to Celtic on this near side. 17 minutes played. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0. Hearts leading Hibs 1-0. How are things going in Paisley, Chick Young?
Well, it's 0-0 at the moment. It's you're talking about history, Liam. It's season 89-90 since St Mirren recorded victories off for both halves of the Old Firm. Rangers have the better team early on, but St Mirren had a blow. Ryan Strange, just 5 minutes injury, had to go off, replaced by Marcus Fraser at right back. And St Mirren have come into it since that. We've played just over 16 minutes, Liam. It still remains St Mirren 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, St Mirren had a particularly memorable win at Celtic Park that season here. Paul Lambert among the Saints scorers. There's that flick from Watkins. Finds Starfelt only, and now it's with McGregor for Celtic. He's got Jota out in the left-hand touchline. Midway inside Aberdeen territory, Jota north stand side, skipping in field. Rolling it back to Iwata. 18 minutes in, 0-0 here. As Czech was saying, 0-0 in Paisley. 1-0 Hearts through Oda at Tynecastle. In the battle for fourth and guaranteed European football. Here's Taylor for Celtic. Hatate back to Taylor. Challenge from Shinnie. Breaks Hatate's way. The edge of the box. There's a slip from Shinnie. It's O'Reilly to Johnston. On this near side, it's Abada. Into the penalty area he goes. Little chip is off Shinnie and behind for a Celtic corner. It is Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0. Almost on the 19-minute mark, but it's basically 90 minutes of Celtic knocking on the door.
Well, it is, and Aberdeen having to defend, but I think their tactic is trying to get pushed out and not just defend inside their own penalty box, but it's really difficult just now because Celtic are dominating the ball, they're dominating possession, but they haven't, the first 5 minutes or so, they did open up Aberdeen in behind, but they haven't had the opportunity to do that, in the last 10 or so. So I think from an Aberdeen point of view, that they're looking a little bit more comfortable.
In comes the corner, it's deep one, there's a header from Kyogo's over the bar, and he'd done really well to outmuscle Ross McCrory just in the 6-yard line there. He'll be so annoyed, Jim, that he's not hit the target there, Kyogo.
Yeah, he will be. He might have fouled him. I think if it was a goal, it could have been one of these ones. It might have been looked at, but he's a handful when he's in the positions. He's only a small guy, but he uses his body well, and he'll be disappointed that he's put that over the bar.
Too many players slipping on the pitch, do you not think, Jim? I don't know. You're watching. I think it was Shinnie. In 2 occasions he's went down. I think McCrory lost his footing on that occasion as well. The pitch looks absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it's a footwear or whatever. Maybe there's a little bit of water on the pitch, but it seems to be causing the players a little bit of problem in keeping their feet and their studs, attached to the grass.
Celtic currently enjoying about 73% of the possession just now. In the last 2 games between these two, Celtic have had around about 80% possession. And one of those was particularly excruciating for Willie. That match just before Christmas, just after the World Cup break. Aberdeen sat in their 18-yard line, and sometimes most of the time deeper than that. Eventually they were suckered by Callum McGregor late on, but in truth Kyogo could have had a hat-trick that day. And he will be annoyed he's not scored there. 21st minute, 0-0. Here's Callum McGregor for Celtic over on the far side. But before today, Celtic had 58 shots on goal in the 3 matches against Aberdeen coming into this one. They've had a few more today. McGregor exchanging passes with Taylor on the far side. Back into the centre circle for Starfelt. Now it's with Iwata to Johnston, to Iwata and to Starfelt again. Joe Hart again, a lonely figure off to our left. The only man inside his own half. Iwata for Johnston on this near side. Johnston in field for McGregor. Finds Taylor, who finds Johnston. Low ball into the Aberdeen box, looking for Kyogo's cut out by McDonald. And that's clear. Duke putting the pressure on Iwata, who responds by getting there first and knocking it back to his goalkeeper.
It must be tough playing in these games, Willie. Did you ever recall?
It's tough watching it.
Yeah, long one for Abada again. They're trying to get him in behind Hayes. Hayes does enough though, and Roos holds on to prevent the corner. And the Aberdeen goalkeeper with the thumbs up to his teammates. 22 minutes just about played. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0. Yeah, it's total domination.
I just think, Jim, from an Aberdeen point of view, they've got to do more. They've got to show more. They've got to show more courage. They've got to be prepared to get players forward. They've got to be prepared to take part. Listen, I know what the tactics are, and Barry's laid out the tactics. What they're trying to do is frustrate everybody back 5-3 in the middle, and the 2 up top playing deep as well. But it's painful to watch at times. It is absolutely painful to watch.
There's Johnston again looking to fire it through towards Hatate. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. Mackenzie's challenge. He slid in. He's got a goal kick out of it as well, Jack Mackenzie. It was a good pick out there, and Rio Hatate did well to keep it in play. Mackenzie, though, terrific defending. That'll do his confidence no harm at all. Almost on 23. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
For me, Celtic don't play that ball enough, and I know that Ange Postecoglou maybe 7 or 8 weeks ago was complaining about the amount of times Kyogo was running in behind and not receiving a pass, because I think, as you know, Willie, what it does, it lengthens the game a wee touch. And if you look at Man City this year with Haaland in their team, they've got that option now that they can, the game is lengthened, they can go in behind. And I think this is something that Celtic probably need to look to do more, because the game is so condensed the way they play it.
Yeah, goal kick, which Roos will take. Just the one goal in the 3 top 6 matches, rounding off the league season. It's a Hearts goal, and Itara Oda in his first for the club, and they lead the Edinburgh Derby at Tynecastle 1-0. The header out on the far side. Ross McCrory trying to control Jota's challenge. Jota does well, keeps it in play. Back to Taylor, who boots it long forward, and McDonald gets there. Pollock gets onto his header, but his ball across his own half is going to fall for Abada. Kellaroos can't prevent the corner. It came off Johnny Hayes. And Celtic have their latest corner down in this near side, right in front of the Aberdeen support. 0-0 it is here. Celtic were looking to make the breakthrough, and O'Reilly stands over their corner on this near side. Left-footed, looks like he's going to pop this into the box rather than use Abada as the short option. In from O'Reilly's a header down, brilliant save by Roos. Still alive for Celtic. Jota passes it back straight to Ramadani, who clears, and away it goes. Carl Starfelt's header, that was going in, but for the save, diving save to his right by Kellaroos. It's as close as Celtic have come to opening the scoring. Almost on 25. It's Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
It's a pretty good header. It's well taken, well flighted, but you would think that Starfelt would have been marked, and surely someone would have been given the responsibility of doing that. And it's a very decent header as well. Good save from Roos. Because it comes off the surface really quickly, and he just manages to get down to his left-hand side and parry it out. But a big chance again for Celtic. Possibly should have taken it.
Celtic in possession here with Taylor. Barry Robson's not happy with something. He's talking to Gavin Duncan, the 4th official, in an animated manner.
I think he might be saying, how did he get free in a free header inside the box from a set piece? I can only imagine that might be in his mind.
Yeah, he'll be annoyed with that, that's for sure. And actually, it's the one thing perhaps, and Jim was kind of hinting at it earlier on with talking about a Celtic target man, if you like, is that they're not the tallest side, and that'll be annoying for Barry Robson. The Celtic are forward again. Hatate's got a shot and goal. I'm not sure if it was a shot or a cut back. Either way, Kellaroos holds on to it inside the 6-yard box, and it stays on 25.5. Celtic 0, Aberdeen 0.
I think if you watch Hatate now, Hatate's starting to run from middle in behind, and that's what Celtic need to do. They need to get the game lengthened a wee bit to try and get Aberdeen defence back a touch.
Long ball forward for Aberdeen's gone all the way through to Joe Hart. Now, when they have had possession of the football, they've been giving it away, and most of the time in an unforced way of Aberdeen, as Johnston rolls it out to this near side touchline for Abada. Back to Johnston and back into his own half for Iwata. Square ball right to left of the circle for Starfelt. He finds Taylor, and now it's Starfelt to Iwata. This is Sports Sound, BBC Radio Scotland on FM and BBC Sounds online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Celtic, Taylor for Kyogo, back onto the left foot, and Kyogo Furuhashi scores yet again. Away he goes in celebration. Celtic's top scorer has been utterly ruthless in front of goal this season. That is number 32, and Celtic can now officially get their trophy day party started. Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. Who else but Kyogo?
Absolutely fantastic. The move from start to finish. He looks like he's lost his opportunity. He takes it back onto his left foot and curls into the top corner. He's a special little player.
No, he is, because he's got two players there as well, and you know, they're both anticipating the right foot strike, and he just has a little touch with the back heel, gets it on the left foot and rifles into the top corner. Absolutely magnificent strike, but Greg Taylor playing a big part in that as well, getting himself up there, a little bit of space, and a superb pass from him. And you think that Kyogo's going to take it, you know, with the right, but he gets it onto the left and just drills it into the top corner.
Penalty at Tynecastle. Let's go to Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's a penalty to Hibs, but I'm fairly sure Liam will be a couple of minutes before they come, because I think there'll be a check for offside. There'll also be a check to see whether it's a red card. It was Cadden who went down inside the box. They're just waiting at the moment to establish exactly what's going to happen. The referee, Don Robertson, has got his finger to his ear. He's waiting to hear. He'll come back to me in a minute.
Brian will come back to you. There's been a goal in Paisley as well, Chick Young.
What a goal it was as well. Smashing Sakala for Rangers. Rocky the Rover stuff. Amazing run right through and across the St Mirren defence. Player after player he took on and beat, and then with the right foot slotted it beyond Peter Urminski. It's a fabulous goal from Sakala, and with 26 and 27 minutes played, it's a 0-0 Rangers 1.
Oh, Celtic almost in again. Thanks, Chick. It's Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0, and it's a wonderful goal by Kyogo. That's what he's all about, and he got it back onto the left foot, and he's reversed it into the near post corner of the net to give Celtic the lead here. We'll get back to Brian as soon as we find out what's going on at Tynecastle with that penalty for Hibs, as McGregor picks up and finds Johnston on the halfway line again, looking to put it through to Abada, driving forward. He's not going to get there this time, and he goes behind for the goal kick. 29 in. You can't say Willie Miller Celtic don't deserve the lead they have.
Oh no, they deserve it, you know, fully deserved. You know, they played some you know, very exciting stuff in the early stages. I felt as though they had taken the foot off it a little bit and were more content just to play the simple pass rather than the pass in behind. But they're now, you know, every time they get the opportunity, they want to play that pass in behind. And when you do that, then the defenders are in two minds, and then you get space in the front, so you then get an option. You've got an option of playing it into that space, as they did with Greg Taylor on that occasion, to set up the goal in the first place. But if you just constantly play it square, then I think it's too easy to defend. But it's a magnificent goal, and they thoroughly deserve it. And Kyogo's such a special player, because it would have been easy for him to take it on with the right foot, and the two defenders thought that that's what he was going to do. Great skill to get it onto the left, and then the finish was something to savour as well.
He's a terrific modern day Celtic striker, isn't he, Jim? He really is. And how long he stays we don't know, but he could really rewrite some records the way he's going.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, he does everything he wants. A striker gets across the goalkeeper, runs in behind, here we go again. Yeah,
Hatate from O'Reilly, but this time he just bobbles away from him, and Hatate goes to ground, and Aberdeen clear. And it's picked up by Iwata, who passes it to Starfelt. Beyond the half-hour mark, Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. And it's Callum McGregor rolling it to the right for Iwata, who finds Johnston. Very difficult afternoon this for Aberdeen. They'll be absolutely elated that they got the job done on Wednesday, given what's going on the pitch here, because you just don't see any way out of this for them right now as things are going. Here's O'Reilly back to McGregor. Still not had a definitive from Tynecastle, incidentally, as Abada picks up right of the penalty area, and now it's Graham Shinney who gets there just in time. He's under pressure from Johnston. He dumps it out for a throw-in. There has been an update at Tynecastle. We're going to go to Brian in a moment. Celtic attacking medium wave and on digital for that game, of course, here on Sports Sound. That Edinburgh derby. In fact, Taylor's put it all the way back to Iwata, out to Johnston on this near side. Let this attack elapse first. It's O'Reilly for Celtic, level with the 6-yard line. Back to Johnston, he goes back to Iwata. Brian McLaughlin at Tynecastle.
Well, drama here. It's not a penalty, but it is a red card. Infringement deemed to be just outside the box.
Killer, he spills it, and Kyogo scores again. He's in the mood for a party, the Japanese. The initial effort saved by Roos, who's been excellent for the Dons in recent months. But this time, he fumbled it straight into the path of Kyogo, who dinks it over him. He gets his second. Celtic have their second. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Let's go back to Brian at Tynecastle.
It's a free kick for Hibernian just outside the box. Goal! Kevin Nisbet with a goal equaliser for Hibernian. It looked as if it was a penalty all day long, but it was infringement, was deemed to be outside the box. It didn't matter, because Kevin Nisbet hammered home his 12th goal of the season. Hearts 1, Hibernian 1, Hearts down to 10 men as well. Alex Cochrane saw red. Toby Civic's on. Barry Mackay's been he's now been replaced by Civic at the back. Hearts down to 10. Hibs in level terms.
It's all happening now, and that may well swing the pendulum Hibernian's way. Could Hearts drop to 5th come the close of business in the Premiership this afternoon? Here at Celtic Park, Callum McGregor's effort, saved by Roos, wasn't the best bit of goalkeeping you'll ever see though, Willie, and Kyogo was on hand to punish him.
That was a horror show from Roos. He's been so reliable, since coming to the club. But another opportunity.
Kyogo's driving forward here. McDonald wins the header. Kyogo wins it back off Pollock. Just drops off Pollock's foot to Tate. Kyogo, left-hand side of the box. He shoots a goal and it rises. And it rises over. And that's going to be a goal kick. Kyogo, well, if he scores there, he would have had a hat-trick in about 7 minutes.
I don't think you can blame him for having a go, Jim, can you?
I mean, he's obviously feeling really confident at the minute. I think I'm not going to make any defence to the goalkeeper. It was
please don't.
Callum McGregor had one of these shots last week where he buried it. I'm not sure that the goalkeeper's expecting a better shot to a certain extent, but it bounced right in front of him, and obviously he should do better.
Yeah, he's got to. He's trying to take it. He's trying to hold on to it, isn't he? He looked confident enough to do that, when really, he's got the opportunity to push it out with his hands as well. That's what I was expecting him to do. Get it out to safety. But because he's tried to hold it and he's not been able to do it, it's difficult one coming off the surface, but it's not well struck by Callum McGregor. So you've got to say to the goalkeeper, and he's got to take that responsibility. It's a goalkeeping error, and Kyogo does what every good striker does, is follow in and taps it into the back of the net.
Celtic in possession here with Greg Taylor left of the centre circle. He goes back to Starfelt as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. There's going to be no repeat, seemingly, of Aberdeen spoiling the party 5 years ago when Andrew Considine scored the winning goal. Sealed second place for Aberdeen that day. And McKenzie chips it forward looking for Duke. It just bounces off him and out for a Celtic throw-in, which Johnston takes quickly back to Iwata. And Aberdeen's problems in this fixture, look like they're going to go on and on here. They're not the only ones to have issues beating this Celtic side. And that's a long old wait, isn't it, for a win over the green and white part of Glasgow, Willie?
Yes, sadly, from an Aberdeen point of view, but, in behind again.
Jota, he clips it away from Roos, off the line by McDonald. And behind for the corner. The goalkeeper spared on this occasion. And it stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. They're in the mood all right today, the champions.
He's given offside, I think. Sure
belatedly it's gone up. Wouldn't have counted anyway. But again, I mean, it will have been tight. You know that.
Yeah.
But again, it's the right tactic, I think, because Aberdeen with the 5 at the back, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to squeeze that space as well, Jim, so that there isn't enough a lot of room in midfield. So Celtic have got to try to get them turned, try to make that back 5 go back the way so that it opens up the space in front.
One ball by the Aberdeen keeper away down that far side. A foul by Watkins, I think, on Starfelt, and that will be a free kick to Celtic deep inside their own half. 9 minutes to go until half-time, at least of the regulation 45. What do you do if you're Barry Robson now? I mean, this is a game, listen, this is a match that has nothing riding on it for either team, really. Celtic perhaps a little bit more, given the day it is for them. I mean, this isn't a result that's going to mean anything for Aberdeen's long-term future. They still want to come away from here with a hiding, obviously. But what's going through his mind right now? Because there just seems no way back for them as things stand, the way this is going.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to try to make some kind of a statement. You've got to try to say to the fans that you're not just here to meekly go out of this game, with a defeat. And I think that would be going through his mind. I must say that it's close to half-time, though. He might want to just get to half-time and then perhaps reorganise a little bit. But I don't think he can just sit back and play that 5 at the back for the rest of this first half, and certainly not into the second half. I think he's got to make some kind of a statement. that they're here to actually make it a little bit difficult for Celtic, because they haven't done that so far. They haven't given Celtic anything to think about whatsoever.
Meanwhile, Hatate's won a free kick in a decent position, 30, well maybe not even 30 yards from goal. Matt O'Reilly standing over it, slightly right to centre. Marley Watkins, I think, went into the book just a moment ago, as the referee Alan Muir draws the line there for the Aberdeen wall. Hatate is standing in front of that at the moment, with O'Reilly and Kyogo standing over this free kick. Celtic looking for a third before the break. It's a four-man Aberdeen wall. O'Reilly dinks it to the left-hand side of the area, looking for Jota, and it just bounces away behind for the goal kick. It's a poor one, poor execution from Matt O'Reilly, who's apologising to his teammate. It stays 2-0 to Celtic with 7 minutes of the 45 left.
Is it not asking to be struck at goal, that one? I mean, you're only just over 20 yards out, maybe 22 yards out.
And the goalkeeper's just spill one.
Yeah, you know, get it in target, get them tested.
I think that's the frustration you get with footballers sometimes. It's like when you score off a corner and then the next corner they takes a short one.
Who'd be a manager?
Just a reminder, 1-1 in the Edinburgh derby. Oda gave Hearts the lead. Kevin Nisbet with a free kick equaliser after Alex Cochrane was sent off. There was a lengthy check to see if it was a penalty, but who needs a penalty when you've got Kevin Nisbet around, as he drew Hibs level. Remember, a draw's enough for Hearts to finish fourth. Hibs win, though, it will be they who will join Aberdeen in the Europa Conference League qualifiers. Of course, Aberdeen have the possibility, strong possibility, and even better than that for them, Celtic win the Cup next week. Here's Hayes. Rare Aberdeen attack here. Hayes cross ball, though, is cut out by Johnston, and out for a throw-in, which Hayes bowls back to McKenzie, and in field to Ramadani, who finds Clarkson. They've not been able to get their important players on the ball, Aberdeen. There's another gift by McKenzie this time, giving it straight back to Celtic. Dinked up the line by Johnston. Kyogo can't keep it in play, and it goes out for an Aberdeen throw on this near side. Just over 5 minutes of the first half to play, with Celtic leading 2-0. But Ange Postecoglou, he'll be much happier with what he's seeing today. I know it sounds as though he's insulted when you're asking him questions about negative Celtic performances, but they've been few and far between since he took over. But he'll be purring Jim McInally at what he's been seeing from his players today.
Yeah, I'll be loving it. And I think the other aspect that you're talking about Aberdeen not doing particularly well in possession, that's coming for a lot. Celtic without the ball are doing miles better than they've done the last few weeks. Here they go again. Yeah,
Hatate winning it off Ramadani into the Aberdeen half. Hatate looking for support, checks his run and passes it all the way back into his own half for Starfelt, who squares it to the right of the circle for Iwata. Side football forward to Johnston. He in turn does it for Kyogo, who flicks it forward. Blocked by a combination though of Shinnie and McDonald, and Aberdeen get it clear, picked up by McCrory over on that far side. McCrory's pass is poor. He was looking for Clarkson. O'Reilly read it, and Celtic have it back again. There's just no respite for Aberdeen here. Long ball for Abada for Celtic. Couldn't quite control, but he's going to be able to keep it in play down by the corner flag on the near side. Now he's attacking Hayes, attacking the box. He's into it now. Headed away from McDonald. He was crouching low to do so. Here's O'Reilly for Celtic. Back out to Johnston. His cross takes a deflection, and it flips over to the other side of the goal and behind for a Celtic corner. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0 on 41.
Yeah, it's been a difficult first half. What we're talking now, 40 minutes for Aberdeen. They really have toiled, and when they do get possession, then you know the passing has been pretty poor, and when Roos gets the ball in his hands as well, he's just giving it back to Celtic. You know, I think you need to try to take a little bit of the sting out of this game.
In comes the corner, headed away by Shinnie. Callum McGregor's cushion header goes straight to Graham Shinnie, who'll knock it forward into the path of Watkins, who's going to drive forward. He's on his own at the moment. Starfelt's the Celtic defender covering. Still it's Watkins. Down goes Marley Watkins. He's been fouled by Starfelt, says the referee, as he was driving up towards the box. There'll be a card coming here for the Swedish defender. It's yellow, and Aberdeen have a free kick in an attacking position as they look to get something back before the break. He sensed they have to make any kind of fist of this.
They do, but you know that's the kind of a run that they need. I mean, we haven't seen Duke in the first half at all, you know, with that powerful run. Watkins has been the one that's been holding it up and has been the danger down the right hand side, and that was a really strong, powerful run. And Starfelt, I thought, Jim, don't know what you felt, I did feel that he took the player out. I think he was losing that battle, to be honest.
It's a yellow card all day. Well, he's I know he's got good pace, Starfelt, but so is Watkins, and ended up a good race. But Watkins was always in charge. This is Aberdeen's best chance of a goal, in my opinion. The aerial stuff, good cross into the box, and physically they're bigger and stronger than Celtic.
Clarkson takes it right footed into the box. It comes off a defender, and Hatate completes the clearance, and that's going to go out for a throw-in down by the corner flag on this near side. That was whipped in from the far side, and it stays 2-0 to Celtic on 42.5.
His deliveries are just brilliant, young Clarkson. I mean, so difficult to defend. He knows exactly where to put that ball. You know, as a defender, then you could easily end up turning that into the back of your own net, and as an attacker, then it gives you something to go and challenge for. He's just been brilliant since coming to the club.
Dukes just won his team a corner as well from that throw-in, so Clarkson's going to get another opportunity. He's got 1 year left, Willie, at Liverpool on his contract, and I think Aberdeen are hoping that they'll be able to either extend the loan or do some kind of deal with Liverpool. Clarkson waits to take the corner. Into the penalty area it comes. It's a deep delivery. Pollock wins the header. Watkins goes after it, but Hart's there. Really good goalkeeping by Joe Hart, and he bowls it out to Hatate, and Celtic are on their way again here on a counter. O'Reilly lets the ball drift onto his right side and passes it down the right-hand touchline for Abada. He's now midway inside the Aberdeen half. Back in field for O'Reilly. Square to Hatate, back to McGregor, heading towards the final minute of the regulation 45. Jota over on that left flank for Taylor, and now McGregor, square ball for Hatate, movement ahead of him. Hatate finds Abada, he's got his back to goal, then O'Reilly back to Hatate, and now Johnston to Hatate, dead centre, back to McGregor, out to the left for Taylor. Celtic again weaving their way through. It's Jota, a little chop up against McCrory, the cross comes in, just a bit too deep for Abada though to deal with it, and it goes behind for the goal kick, and it stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. It's Hearts 1, Hibs 1 in the final Edinburgh derby of the season. Oda and Nisbet trading goals. Hearts down to 10 men. Alex Cochrane sent off, and it's St Mirren 0, Rangers 1. Fashion Sakala with the only goal of the game in Paisley as we approach half-time in the 3 top 6 matches at the conclusion of the Premiership season. Bottom 6 to come tomorrow. Kilmarnock against Ross County, Motherwell, Dundee United. Dead rubber between St Johnstone and Livingston, relatively speaking, as the flag is waved on the far side, and it's gone out for a throw-in. That's the reason for that. 2 minutes have been added on by Alan Near, the referee, and Celtic leading by 2-0. Both scored by Kyogo in the space of 5 minutes. He'll be wanting to turn it on in the Champions League next season. Celtic will be wanting to turn it on in the Champions League next season. Straight into the groups again. Are Scotland's champions. I think collectively Scottish football's going to have to do a whole lot better next season, because the coefficient took a major dent this term. As Johnston comes forward now, out to the right for Abada. First half stoppage time. Here's Abada attacking Hayes into the penalty area. Good slide challenge by Hayes, puts it behind for a Celtic corner. Will they get a third before the break? Barry Robson and Steve Agnew down there will be desperately hoping not.
Yeah, well, it's opening up a little bit. You know, I think Aberdeen realising that they have to come out and try to give Celtic something to think about, and by doing that, you know, there's a little bit more space as we just trickle towards half-time.
In comes the corner from O'Reilly again. It's a deep one. It's just evaded Abada at the back end of the box, and it's gone out of play for a throw-in to Aberdeen, albeit it might actually, did it come off the arm of Abada? I think the throw-in has been given.
I think your frustrations, Willie, watching Aberdeen is that they're trying to play like St Mirren played last week, but not used to playing like that. And for example, the St Mirren goalkeeper could put the ball in Curtis Main's head every time he kicked it last week, and that's the difference. It's, you know, St Mirren knew exactly what they were doing. It's a wee bit foreign game to Aberdeen, and I think that's why they've struggled.
There's Clarkson for the Dons, looking for Hayes. He was fouled actually, Leighton Clarkson. We have free kick to Aberdeen over on the right hand side of their own half. St Mirren were excellent here last week, Jim, but Celtic were nowhere near this level last week, and they haven't been for a few weeks. And I don't subscribe to the theory that that should be too concerning from a Celtic point of view, because my goodness, they've earned the right to put in those kind of performances once they've got the title in the bag. But Celtic have been at it today, and they haven't been at it for the last few weeks.
That's for sure, and that's just what happens. You've got this atmosphere, you've got the trophy, you've got a cup final coming next week, and there's all to play for as far as they're concerned.
The disappointing thing from an Aberdeen point of view is they haven't tested their defence, and their defence has been weak recently, and you know, they've not had the opportunity, they've not played well enough to create the opportunity to test that defence.
There's the half-time whistle, yeah. 2-0 to Celtic at the break here. And Willie talking about it there. Celtic have been shipping goals left, right and centre. Recently the 3 at Ibrox, the 4 at Easter Road during the week. Even here they've been conceding goals, but not so today. They've been much more like the team they were before the title was clinched at Tynecastle a few weeks ago. And Kyogo Furuhashi has stepped up. He's taken his season's tally to 33 with a couple of goals which have given his team a 2-goal cushion at the interval. The first on 27. Wonderful play by Greg Taylor. Found Kyogo, danced onto his left foot, and he clipped it beautifully into the top right corner past Kellaroos, who was at fault for the second. Callum McGregor's effort from the edge of the box was spilled by the Aberdeen Dutch goalkeeper, and Kyogo was there on the rebound, the one man inside the stadium you didn't want it to fall to. It fell to, and he chipped it over Roos. To mean the half-time scoreline here at Celtic Park on Trophy Day is Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, and we will join the closing stages of what's been a dramatic first half in the final Edinburgh derby of the season. Hearts 1, Hibs 1 at Tynecastle.
Played across, we're into 7 minutes of additional time at Tynecastle. Sends it across, Hill can't get there, it's just too much from the corner. Hearts have to do better from these set plays.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at, usually it was Cochrane that was taking that in-swinger. No, it's an out-swinger.
Hibs have it, playing across their back four. Fish on to Hanlon, back on to Fish. It's long down that right-hand side. Miller's making the chase, trying to keep the ball in. Does so. Facing up Kai Rogues, trying to play it back to Cadden. Works its way to Newell, wasn't the intended target. Newell opens up to James Jeggle. And Born in Vienna will gather. Plays it across. Back onto Will Fish. Fish takes the touch, plays it out wide to Miller. Credit to Ebser, trying to stretch Hearts to make that extra man count. There's Miller, trying to go through Ginnelly. Ginnelly has it, and will just thump it away up to the halfway line. No Hearts player there. Paul Hanlon will gather. And it'll come back onto Will Fish. Fish sends it long to the left-hand side. Yuan is there. Yuan up against Atkinson. Nice little drag back. Atkinson gets in front of him, takes a touch. Yuan tries to win it back. He's done so. He's got away from Atkinson. He's at the edge of the area, and eventually runs the ball out of play. It's going to be a goal kick. Came off his heel. Yuan's just got that little bit of space he's looking to exploit.
Yeah, Johan fancies it. I felt that was a free kick there in terms of initially when he lost it, he won it back, Johan. And Atkinson had a grab of his shirt. No, eventually the final touch comes off of Johan. Don Robertson sees it as a bye kick for Hearts. I thought that was a free kick, Hibs.
Don Robertson is our match referee. Hibs last lost the opening goal in Edinburgh derby and won back in April 2019. Peter Hanning scored for Hearts. Donald Horgan got a couple for Hibs, but Hibs trying to do that today as Shankland up at the edge of the area, trying to put pressure on Paul Hanlon. Hanlon escapes out wide, sends the ball down the side. Newell takes the touch ahead of Devlin. Devlin trying to block him off, and it touched off Devlin in the end. It's going to be a throw into Hibs on that far side. 49.5 minutes on the clock. We're looking to play up to mark number 52. Lewis Stevenson on that far side with the throw. Hearts desperate to get in at the interval. Level, do a little reshuffle. And Johnson knows his side could be ahead already. Newell brings the ball down from the throw, turns it round the corner, looking for Nisbet. James Hill is across, simply knocks it out of play, wasn't taking any chances there, just made sure to send it down the far side. It's a throw into Hibs. Half-time Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, St Mirren 0, Rangers 1. Closing stages here at Tynecastle, the Edinburgh derby. Hibs won in April by 1-0. Hearts were unbeaten in the previous 9. They'd won 4 of the previous 5. They'd settled for a draw right now, Hearts. There's another 45 minutes to come after this one.
Here we go, a long throw again. Lewis Muller now away over on the left-hand side to launch it into the Hearts box.
And he's just a few metres away from the Hibs technical area. Now he launches it, that's close to the penalty box. Fish tried to get up there, breaks back for Ellie Yuan, into the middle it goes. Hearts get the ball away, breaks the edge of the area to Joe Newell. Goalkeeper comes and gathers and takes. That long throw and causes chaos.
I'm just wondering, Johan is on the seconds he's kept it alive, he's headed it across. He's just outside the 6-yard box. Let it drop and go and hit one for goal.
Aye. He's in good goal scoring form as well. 3 goals in his last 4. But he decided against it on that occasion. Here's Zander Clark. Clean sheets in his first couple of derbies, conceded 1 in his next 2. Ball headed up. Oda gets it down onto Shanklin, back inside to Oda. Oda, 25 yards from goal. The shot wasn't on, so he'll keep the ball. Played out wide to Ginnelly. Ginnelly looks to see what his support is. He'll play it back inside onto Devlin. Devlin back to Ginnelly, who's been marked by the referee. Now comes out wide. Kai rolls back onto Ginnelly once more. Hearts may have to go back to the halfway line here. The home fans don't like it as Hill gets closed down by Nisbet, forcing the ball back onto Zander Clark. That Hearts can't afford to take chances, not at the moment. Now it's sent long. Stevenson heads the ball away, gets it on to Atkinson. Atkinson has Shankland outside him. Just on the touchline. Back inside onto Atkinson. He's going to try and get the ball in, but there's nobody there. It takes a bounce, comes all the way out the other side. Just a little bit desperate there, Michael. Didn't have anybody in support anyway.
No, he's throwing the ball into the box when there was absolutely no need. He could have been looking to try to slide it back into Shankland's feet.
Well, the half-time whistle has gone at Tynecastle, and what an opening 52 minutes we have had. Hearts ahead through Oda, lovely little strike from the edge of the box. Hibs levelled after the referee overturned a penalty call and a yellow card for Alex Cochrane. Cochrane sent off, the free kick awarded, and Hibs scored from the free kick. Kevin Nisbet, wonderful curling effort low into the corner. Arguably Hibs should be ahead. They had chances at the end. Somehow Lewis Miller missed a header from close range. But at Tynecastle with 45 still to play, Adam Midlothian 1, Hibernian 1.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder. Oh!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
No doubt that the final top 6 fixtures have delivered so far. Plenty of talking points in the 3 games. One of our commentary matches is at Celtic Park. Celtic, the champions, against Aberdeen. Liam McLeod, no doubt Ange Postecoglou's side have found their form again.
Well, I mean, they've been off it, haven't they, the last few games, most notably perhaps shipping the 4 goals at Easter Road the other night. They've been shipping goals left, right and centre. Doesn't look likely on this occasion. They're 2-0 up at half-time against an Aberdeen team. They look like a side that have done their season's business, and fair play to them. They did so on Wednesday evening by sealing 3rd. They've also got a woeful record here at Celtic Park. They've only won one of their last 34 league visits here, and just 7 times they've beaten Celtic in Glasgow in more than 30 years, and around 70 clashes between the sides. So not a surprising scoreline at the break, and of course it's Kyogo Furuhashi who's had the biggest say of all. He scored both goals. He's taken his season tally to 33 for the season. He's been a constant worry for the Aberdeen defence, which has only conceded 4 goals since they lost 4 goals here back in February before today, but 2 in the space of 5 minutes from Kyogo. The first one was excellent, good work by Taylor. Kyogo got it onto his left side in the box, right to the penalty spot, and he sent a shot high into the top right corner to put the champions in front. And they were 2-0 up just a few minutes later. This was a blunder by Keller-Roos, the Aberdeen goalkeeper, who's been excellent for them in the last few months, so he can probably be forgiven for this one. Callum McGregor's fairly tame shot from the edge of the box caught him out. He parried it straight to Kyogo, dinked it over him to make it 2-0. And you would think that would probably be game, set and match for Celtic, who've had all the ball, they've had all the chances. Aberdeen have barely threatened at all. Marley Watkins and Duke have been working in the periphery of the match. But as I said, they did their job on Wednesday evening, and Jim McInally, as far as Celtic are concerned, much better than they've been in recent weeks.
Yeah, this is the Celtic that's been most of the season, right for the kick-off. They were out the traps quickly. They could have maybe scored a goal or two the first 5 minutes. Aberdeen then got into a nice defensive shape and kept them at bay for a wee touch, but then Hatate started making some runs for middle to front, getting in behind. They stretched the game a wee touch, and then eventually they got the breakthrough with a fantastic goal. And Aberdeen quite happy to get to half-time, only 2 behind, and I would imagine they'd be quite happy to go home 2 behind.
They haven't really beaten Celtic in 5 years, and clearly it was odds against them being able to do so given the optics of today. Even though they did win that match 5 years ago on the final day, they'd something big to play for that day, and it looks like a team that's, shall we say, celebrated what is a real triumph for them on Wednesday evening these days.
Well, yeah, but that was in the past. That's the problem. And if you set standards and you can't let the standards drop. I'm disappointed with Aberdeen. I don't think it's good enough. I think initially they tried to make it difficult. There's 5 at the back. They've defended reasonably well. Celtic's had a few chances, but they've got to give Celtic something to think about. They've got a travelling support here. It's been a great turnaround for Barry Robson. What has he got to lose now? Second half, change the shape, maybe go to a back 4, get an extra man in midfield, or ask your 2 wing backs to get up the park and try to support the 2 very isolated strikers. You need more in midfield. You've got to give more responsibility to the defenders. You've got to try to give the fans something to look forward to next season. I think so far in the first 45, for me, it's not been good enough. I'm hoping that it's going to turn around in the second half. As far as Celtic goes, brilliant performance, absolutely brilliant, first class.
Aberdeen will just be delighted they got the job done on Wednesday and weren't relying on getting a positive result here, because this has been all about Celtic on Trophy Day. At half-time, it's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Full second half commentary to come from Celtic Park. Our other commentary game today is the Edinburgh Derby, 4th place up for grabs, and it's very finely poised. Paul Mitchell.
It has been some game, Kenny. Hearts 1, Hibs 1. Yutaro Odo, the opening goal for Hearts in his Edinburgh Derby debut. Long throw into the area. Hibs got a clearance header, and Oda with a sweet strike 20 yards low into the corner. David Marshall unsighted as the ball nestled in the net. Perfect start for Hearts. It was tough tackling. There was lots of just flowing football, being allowed to get on with it. The referee was just trying to get things moving, but there was a big moment on the half hour. Long ball played through. Nisbet may have been offside, but given on, he came through, flicked the ball inside. Cochrane managed to make the challenge, and Cochrane, well, he made the challenge we thought outside the area, but the referee immediately pointed to the spot. It was referred to VAR. The yellow card was overturned, given to red, and the free kick was given outside the area. So that was utter chaos. It took 5 or 6 minutes for that to come. Hearts still felt that Nisbet was offside when the ball was played across, but that was the result. And then to make matters worse for Hearts, Kevin Nisbet with the free kick curled it low into the corner for the equalising goal. And it all looked good for the men in green and white. Paul Hanlon forced an incredible save from Xander Clark. Joe Newell did the same on 45 minutes. We played 7 minutes of additional time, and somehow Lewis Miller missed a header from 3 yards out from a corner. Hibs should be ahead here. They're not. What a derby it's been though. Hearts 1, Hibs 1.
Yeah, sounds like a fantastic game there. The final game making up the top 6 fixtures this afternoon is in Paisley. St Mirren against Rangers there for us. Chick Young.
Yeah, half-time, it's St Mirren 0, Rangers 1, and that goal, the highlight of the first half. Magnificent sole effort, a dancing run from Fashion Sakala beyond the St Mirren defence, across the St Mirren defence, in and out he weaved and hit a low shot beyond Peter Erminski in the Saints' goal to give Rangers a lead, which they probably deserved. There have been a couple of threats on goal. There was one marvellous save from Robbie McCrory that Saints thought they had got the ball into back. Curtis Main has again been he was actually booked for what was deemed a reckless challenge on the goalkeeper, who was injured and recovered with that. But I have to say, it looked a legitimate case for me to go for the ball. I don't think the goalkeeper had totally in possession. Yellow card for that for the St Mirren striker. Saints have put some of the passes together quite well. They've entertained a lot from the playing out from the back, but I think Rangers worthy of this lead. It's been a terrific performance. What a goal it is from Fashion Sakala. They've had 1 or 2 other threats as well, but the finishing hasn't been all it might have been in that. We'll wait substitutions at half-time. Kenny, Scott Arfield, I'm sure, will make a farewell appearance the second half. He's out there warming up at the moment, actually. We'll probably see him. A couple other switches as well. But at the moment, Rangers on top in this game. It is St Mirren 0, Rangers 1.
So the half-time scoreline: St Mirren 0, Rangers 1, Hearts 1, Hibs 1, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Just a reminder, Hibs need to win that game at Easter Road if they are to go above Hearts and into 4th spot in the table. Leanne Crichton is with me in the studio. That was a big call at Tynecastle. You're reading off it?
It was, yeah, it was a big call indeed. I think eventually Don Robertson gets there. In the end, I would need to say defensively, it was really poor from a Hearts perspective. The turnover, the long ball initially was what caused the problems. And then the penalty was awarded, When we looked at it in here, we were looking at it, we couldn't communicate with the guys at the time, but certainly it didn't look like it was inside the area. And as I say, Don Robertson then reverses the decision, gives the free kick, but it was as good as with Kevin Nisbet on the pitch. What a free kick it was. Having said that, the Hearts wall was probably questionable, but a brilliant game.
Yeah, really good action, I have to say, on sports, and plenty more to come tomorrow. Reminder, we're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening. Once again, a choice of listening on Radio Scotland. For full commentary of Celtic against Aberdeen, choose BBC Radio Scotland on BBC Sounds and 92 to 95 FM. For Hearts against Hibs in the race for 4th, tune to BBC Radio Scotland on digital, Radio Scotland Extra on BBC Sounds and 810 medium wave. We'll also bring you updates from St Mirren against Rangers.
Football from Sports Sound.
Brilliant drop of the shoulder.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
And hello to BBC Radio Scotland listeners on FM on BBC Sounds and at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. The second half, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. 20 seconds old, Celtic in possession here in the centre circle with Taylor as they go right to left. They've made one change at the interval. Neil Abada's 100th appearance for Celtic is over, and he's been replaced by James Forrest, one of the most decorated players in Celtic history. As that's threaded through by Taylor to the edge of the box for Hatate, cut out by McDonald, and here's Duke. No changes for Aberdeen at the interval. So for Celtic, Hart in goal, Johnston, Iwata, Starfelt, Taylor, O'Reilly, McGregor, Hatate, Forrest and Jota with Kyogo. Aberdeen with Roos in goal, Pollard, McDonald, McKenzie, McCrory and Hayes, Ramadani, Shinnie and Clarkson, Watkins and Duke. McKenzie's in trouble at the back. Oh, he's gone back to his keeper. Kyogo was in there, and Roos had to make a defensive tackle on Kyogo there as he eyed up his hat-trick. Jack McKenzie's head swimming there as Kyogo's left spark out on the deck after the challenge from the Dons keeper.
I'm just about to say, Willie, it looks like you've done the half-time team talk, and Aberdeen will be brave on possession, take the ball at the back. The first thing they do is nearly lose a goal. Yeah,
there's brave and stupidity though, Jim, and I must admit, you know, with the youngster there, Jack McKenzie, you know, you can't take that chance, and if you're going to play the ball back to the goalkeeper, make sure it gets to the goalkeeper. You know, it's landed there, and he's got to make a tackle. It's actually a very good tackle from Kel Roos to take Kyogo out of the game. He gets the ball, the two of them meet the ball at the same time, and so there's no infringement there, but it's a bad decision by Jack McKenzie to play that one back the park. Yeah, be brave when it's on to be brave. On that occasion, you know, he just pondered on the ball, didn't he? Just stood in the ball, and he didn't react to it. If you want to play it back, get there quickly and do things very sharply. He didn't on that occasion. He's lucky to get away with it.
Celtic in possession, Forrest going back the way to Iwata, who squares it to the left of the centre circle for Starfelt, and now Hatate back to Iwata, who's the J-League in Japan's Player of the Year last season. Kyogo's still feeling the effects of that Roos challenge. He might actually have to come off here. Kyogo is back on the deck, and Alan Muir has stopped play again to allow more attention to the Celtic double goal scorer today, their top scorer. And well, that'll be a worry if he has to come off, and he has been injured with the cup final coming up next Saturday, Jim.
Yeah, it looked like he caught his ankle possibly in the follow through. The goalkeeper just got to the ball first and kicked it, and I think maybe in the follow through he's caught Kyogo's ankle.
Yeah, change has been made. Oh, Hugh is going to come on, so Kyogo's afternoon's over, and Ange Postecoglou will be hoping it's not season over for his star man ahead of that cup final next Saturday afternoon, late afternoon.
Yeah, you'd make the change anyway, just as a precaution, wouldn't you? You know, it's difficult to say. It looked as though they both got to the ball at the same time. Maybe there was a follow-through, maybe, you know, he was caught with a stud. But he's better off. He's better off the park, getting the treatment, getting it seen to early as well. They've got the replacement ready and up to take his place. And he's got a fantastic first 45.
He's getting from the Celtic supporters here, standing ovation. He's got his final league goals of the season. His season's tally overall 33. His league tally will finish at 27. We talked about it in the first half, the impact that Kyogo Furuhashi has made on this club, and he'd have even more goals, you would have thought, had he not been injured in the second half of last term. Roh Hyun-kyu replaces him. There's been another goal in Paisley. Chick Young.
And it's another magnificent goal for Fashion Sakala. Another dancing run, cutting in from the left side past the Simon defenders. An echo of the goal he scored in the first half. Wonderful skills for Sakala. What a goal this is. Two wonderful goals he scored, two sole efforts, and we're into the early into the second half. 48 minutes played. Simon 0, Rangers 2, Fashion Sakala with them both.
Yeah, 2 for Sakala there in Paisley, 2 for Kyogo here in Glasgow. Oda Nisbet trading goals in the first half of that Edinburgh derby in the battle for fourth. Currently, it's Hearts who sit fourth. The home team down to 10 men against Hibs in that whole second half. Celtic win it back off Duke. Here's Forrest threading it through, looking for Jota, won by McDonald. Now Shinnie finds Duke, who finds Shinnie, but he's lost out to Matt O'Reilly, and then Watkins is challenged by Hatate. Shinnie wins it back off Matt O'Reilly, and Shinnie's now driving forward. He really is a driving force. Duke to his left. Couldn't find him though, kind of got caught under his feet. Watkins was the closest player, he couldn't get it to him either. And Celtic have it back. That's what Graham Shinnie gives you though. He's a real driving force, and he'll be desperate to ensure that he's back in Aberdeen colours next season. Celtic though still leading this one by 2-0.
You do need you need someone that's going to get you up the park, and you know Aberdeen have failed dramatically in that attempt to get you know, players running and causing Celtic problems. But Shinnie, yeah, showing his way there, definitely. Bit of a goal machine recently as well.
There's McGregor, through it comes as an opportunity. Here's reversed off the outside of the post, I think, from O'Reilly. My view is just slightly obscured there, but it looked as though it bounced off the outside of the post and behind for the goal kick as he tried to reverse it into that bottom right corner. It stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, 51.5. Matt O'Reilly, Jim, very unlucky.
Yeah, excellent play again. James Forrest is now going to cause a different problem to Johnny Hayes. He's not got the pace to get in behind, but he's got the intelligence and the brain, and he's already looking to thread wee balls in there, and the ball's played into Matt O'Reilly, and you actually fancy him to finish for there, but it's still a good effort.
Fouled by Duke on Iwata, the edge of the Celtic box, and the long ball from Kellaroos. There's a free kick to Celtic, which they've taken quickly. Starfelt gets it back from Taylor, was back to his goalkeeper, Clarkson chasing him down, and it's shifted to Iwata, and now with Johnston, side football into the centre circle for Taylor. Taylor finds Hatate. Hatate spinning away from Ramadani and Pollock, and rolling it out to the right for Johnston. Johnston up towards the edge of the Aberdeen box, low ball in, and is blocked by McDonald, and that's going to go out for a throw-in down by the corner flag over on the far side for the hosts.
Yeah, it looks as though, you know, Aberdeen are trying to get to, you know, more midfield players forward to support their front two, and I think that what that's doing though is leaving an awful lot of space for Celtic to occupy. I think the back five have got to push up and be a much more tighter.
Jota! Oh, he's unlucky. Acrobatic effort was a chipped ball towards the 6-yard line. Jota, well, his right foot I think was higher than his head there as he went to try and guide it into the net, but it's just gone past the left-hand post, and it's a goal kick to Aberdeen, and it stays 2-0 to Celtic. It's drawing applause from his manager.
He was offside as well, Liam. The flag eventually went up over the far side. It definitely looked as though it was a good yard, you know, too quickly off his marker there. it was close. The finish was close, but it wouldn't have counted.
Shinnie's cushion header from McCrory on the near side, midway inside the Celtic half. McCrory loses it to Hatate. And it's Hatate on the turn. He rolls it out to Greg Taylor on this left-hand side. Still hard work for Aberdeen, this 53.5 played. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Celtic in possession with Johnston, forward to O'Reilly. McKenzie and Hayes lose out, and O'Reilly's galloping forward right hand side of the area, looks up to see what's in the middle, rolls it across, and behind it goes for the corner off the defender.
I don't know if he's got too many. He's got options, but I think Aberdeen have got a lot of red jerseys back there. He's delayed, he's trying to pick the pass, he's trying to thread it through, and eventually, he makes that decision, but Aberdeen have just got too many players back, and it's deflected for the corner.
In comes the corner, it's knocked away by Hayes, and out for a Celtic throw-in about midway inside the Aberdeen half over on that north stand side. Celtic going right to left, attacking the Jock Stein stand end, the west end of the stadium in this second half. Celtic on the ball, Forrest rolling it back to Johnston. Now with Carl Starfelt, right-footed to Hatate on this near side. Hatate, low ball into the area for O on the turn, but it's going to come right through to Roos, who holds on, smothering at the feet of the Korean striker, and it stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0, almost on 55.
I think O, the few times I've watched him, he seems to do that quite a lot. Rather than get a hold of the ball and take it in, he always looks to be on his next move before he gets it under control.
He's a different proposition to Kyogo, that's for sure. Celtic, as you were saying, Jim, they need that different option. There'll be games, maybe European matches, where they need something a little bit different to what Kyogo offers them. And maybe O will be the man to perform that role. As McCrory loses out to McGregor on the near side. Here's Hatate, level the edge of the D of his own box on this near side touchline. He's done well to hold off Pollock, who's clearly sticking with Rio Hatate. Really advanced position, the Aberdeen centre half there. Hart clips it to his right for Iwata, right of the Celtic box. Long ball looking for Forrest. McKenzie knocks it out for a throw-in to Celtic over on that far side. Forrest in field quickly to O'Reilly, gets it back from Forrest again. He's having a good game, Matt O'Reilly. Really good midfielder. As Taylor picks up and finds Forrest. Now to Hatate at the edge of the Aberdeen box. To the right, it's O'Reilly, it's a low ball in. It's held on to by Kellaroos, and it stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0 on 56.
The game feels wide open now, doesn't it? It's lengthened the game. Aberdeen are trying to push on. They push one of their centre-backs on a wee bit, allowing Shinnie to push on to get the press higher, but Celtic are picking them off too easily.
A better game, though. It's a much more open game, and at least Aberdeen are taking part in it. You would hope that we get a little bit of a reward for it, but it could turn on them as well quite easily. Celtic could take advantage of it and maybe get another couple.
Over on the far side, there's an offside flag against O, who's wasted all that energy running out to try and get onto the ball. The flag has gone up. Free kick Aberdeen. 57 minutes just about played here. Celtic leading by 2-0. Rangers leading by 2-0 in Paisley against St Mirren. They're about 7 minutes behind us, I think, at Tynecastle, given that lengthy VAR stoppage for the red card and penalty check in the first half, was eventually given as a free kick, which Kevin Nisbet dispatched to cancel out that Utara Oda goal. 1-1 last we heard at Tynecastle. Let's go to Brian McLaughlin for an update in the capital.
Yeah, just over 5 minutes gone in the second half. Still one apiece. It's the Hibs fans, though, who are making a noise. They feel they're on the ascendancy. Certainly nothing of note, anyway, in the opening 5 minutes of the second half, although a couple of changes made at the break. Lewis Miller and James Jago being replaced by McCurdy and Henderson. And it looks like Doyle Hayes is coming off. It looks like he's done his shoulder, so he's also going to be replaced with Josh Campbell coming on. But Hibs fans can sense here that the ascendancy is with them. But remember, as things stand, it's Hearts who will finish fourth, although they are down to 10 men. 1-1 at Tynecastle.
And I presume, Brian, that Hibs are attacking the school end where their supporters are in the second half, correct?
They absolutely are, yeah. It's here, there's another chance. It's Cadden with the cross, but it looks like Rouse is going to close it down, although he does manage to get the ball in. Up go the Heads. Chance again for McCurdy.
Yeah.
Cleared away by the Hearts defence. Still 1-1 here, Liam.
Thanks, Bri. That match continues on BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave, on Extra, on digital, and at bbc.co.uk. /Sports Scotland if it's the Edinburgh Derby you want. Here in Glasgow, Celtic leading Aberdeen by 2-0. There's a big gap between first and third in this league, and there's a big gap on the pitch as Forrest comes forward and low ball ins, cut out by Ramadani. He puts it high over his own crossbar, and that will be Celtic's latest corner as they look for a third.
Yeah, an awful lot of spaces now being opened up, and Celtic taking advantage. Just the delivery and the choice, you know, in a wide area, particularly down that right hand side. They've had 2 or 3 opportunities, and the choice and the accuracy hasn't been good enough.
In comes the corner, there's the header, it's wide. That's a huge opportunity for Oh Hyun-kyu.
He's possibly given a foul, Liam, for a push by Oh.
Yeah, I think he has, yeah.
They should still score.
Yeah, he's put it wide of that left-hand post, hasn't he? But he's got himself into the position where he had the potential to score. And it is a free kick. Would have been a goal kick anyway, so it's basically the same thing. Roos takes it on the 6-yard line. Long ball into the Celtic half, and it bounces on this near side. Here's Watkins. Watkins, good shimmy, and the cross comes in towards Duke. Going for it, losing out to Johnston, but here's Shinnie keeping it alive. Back across, Duke there on the 6-yard line. Lays it back to Clarkson, but it's Hatate's in the way. What a chance it was for Aberdeen there, and then Shinnie will be yellow carded for a cynical pullback on Rio Hatate, who then squares up to Graham Shinnie. Well, you don't normally see Hatate losing his cool, but he did there. He's frustrated that Graham Shinnie had no intention of playing the ball and just brought him unceremoniously to the deck.
Yeah, but he should get a yellow card for that. He should get a yellow card for that.
He does.
He hasn't. No, Graham Shinnie gets it, but Hatate should get a yellow card for squaring up. The referee just waves it aside.
I thought
that's not good refereeing. I
thought he should have been grateful, Willie, that he actually didn't trip him, that he just pulled him, because I know what I would have done.
Free kick to Celtic, 2-0 to Celtic. Yeah, the gap in the league is enormous. If it finishes like this, it'll be 42 points between first and third in the top flight of Scottish football. Celtic's goal difference currently plus 77. Aberdeen in third, -1. A huge disparity. We've not had the discussion this season, is the gap bigger than it's ever been. It's difficult to argue against that when you look at that league table.
You would have to check that one out. The last team to finish with -1 goal difference and finish in third.
Has it ever happened? There's Johnston wide on that right-hand side. Now it's with Callum McGregor. Rolls it to Taylor, and then Starfelt. Back to Taylor, back to Hatate. 61 on the clock, given away by Celtic. Haven't done that often today. Here's Duke, good challenge by Hatate. He's been excellent, but he's lost out. And here comes Shinnie for Aberdeen. Rolls it to the left of the box for Hayes. Cross comes in to the back end of the box where there is nobody in red. McCrory trying to keep it alive, and he's on the ball, forced down towards the corner flag on this near side. Starfelt's won his team a throw-in by knocking it off McCrory, and out for a Celtic ball on this near side. They just don't look as though they've got the belief when they get into the final third. Aberdeen, they've again, one of the biggest issues in this league right now, and why there is such a big gap, is Celtic have a man down. I think it's Johnston who might need a bit of treatment here. He's just back from injury as well. One of the biggest issues in this division right now is teams' ability to pick up points away from home, and Aberdeen are no exception. It's been better from them recently. They won 3 in a row under Barry Robson on the road, but precious few away victories over the last couple of years for Aberdeen. Hearts have only won 3 times away from home, and that's cost them third. It might even cost them fourth today, even though they're at home this afternoon.
Yeah, but you know, I think coming to Celtic Park, are you expecting to go away with 3 points? I'm not expecting that. What you're looking for is a good performance, and maybe giving Celtic something to think about and keeping the scoreline low. And yeah, if you get a point, that's a good result. If you can get 3 points, magnificent, but the likelihood is that you're not going to do that. I think in the second half, though, from an Aberdeen point of view, they've done what they had to do. Be more adventurous, getting the wing backs forward. You see Johnny Hayes there. Yeah, the cross isn't good enough, but at least he's forward, you know, and he's in a position where he can put a cross into the box. The first half, that just did not happen, and that's why I says it wasn't good enough at half time. It's been a little bit better in the second half, and yeah, you give Celtic more opportunities to perhaps add to the scoreline. But I think from an Aberdeen point of view, and any visitors here, I think they've got to try and make it more difficult for the champions.
63 on the clock. Celtic leading 2-0 against Aberdeen. But here's a blow, Jim, for Celtic. Ange Postecoglou started Alistair Johnston today after a month out. Hasn't played since the Scottish Cup semi-final win over Rangers. But he's coming off here, and that's going to be a worry as well ahead of the cup final next week.
It possibly is a worry. It doesn't look as though he's walking too badly, to be honest. Maybe even they felt, as soon as he felt something, that he was coming off anyway. Maybe not taking any chances, but it certainly looks as though he's walking not too bad. I'm sure they could get another 90 minutes out of him next week, and he can go his holidays after that.
He's had a lot of football, actually, Alistair Johnston. He's not really had a break in the last couple of seasons. Of course, he arrived from Montreal as Starfelt picks up deep inside his own half, and he switches it to Iwata and out to Anthony Ralston, who's come on to replace Johnston on 64 minutes. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. 10-man Hearts 1, Hibs 1 at Tynecastle. St Mirren 0, Rangers 2 in Paisley. Tomorrow, Kilmarnock, Ross County, Motherwell, Dundee United, St Johnstone, Livingston. Loads riding on that game at Rugby Park. Dundee United need an 8-goal swing to try and prevent automatic relegation tomorrow. Ross County are currently sitting in the playoff spot. Dundee United would pay a lot of good money for 11th place in the Premiership right now. They have to try and do it on the football pitch tomorrow and hope Kilmarnock do them a favour. Full coverage on Sportsound tomorrow. Those games kicking off at 3. 65 played here at Celtic Park. The Celtic supporters within the next hour will see their team hoist the league trophy yet again. Here comes James Forrest down the right-hand side of the Aberdeen box. Turns back the way to face his own goal, finds McGregor, and then Iwata to Starfelt. McGregor and Forrest, of course, have done it many times before when it comes to lifting silverware in Celtic colours. Here's Ralston into his captain. McGregor just slightly behind Greg Taylor as Clarkson picks up and passes it off. Alan Muir, who apologises, and Aberdeen will have an uncontested drop ball possession here as we approach 66 minutes. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Lots of work to be done in this Aberdeen squad, Willie, over the summer. When you look at this, I think there's only certainly six of the starting 11 are contracted for next season. As the ball gets caught up in more of the banners which are still being blown around by the wind from the pre-match display.
I'm surprised it hasn't stopped it before this to, clear up the plastic display.
There's been one or two opportunities for them to do it, to get the pitch cleared, but there's a few more have arrived on the scene now. Yeah,
but as far as the Aberdeen squad's concerned, absolutely. There's major surgery required, and a lot of work has got to go on during the close season to, well, first of all, get a bit of clarity on who's staying and who's going of these loan players, but then secondly, how you're going to strengthen the squad, because there's no doubt it needs strengthening, and I don't think you can go into next season with the lack of strength that they've got and the numbers that they've got and also the quality that they've got as well. So a fair bit of work required, so it's going to be a busy close season, I would imagine, for the Dons. They'll obviously be anticipating, and after next Saturday they will know what the financial situation will be in terms of European football, and that would certainly help them make decisions.
A foul on O by McDonald. Celtic have the ball, so an advantage has been given to them. There's Hatate. O'Reilly's been wiped out by McDonald, who was the man who fouled O just before that. So Alan Muir's going to have a word with the big Aberdeen centre-half, who is one of those contracted for next season. He signed a 2-year contract extension, having initially only arrived till the end of the campaign when Barry Robson performed first aid on the squad at the end of January. But McDonald and Pollock have been key to Aberdeen's recent successes. We're in the final quarter. Here comes Celtic. Taylor's cross ball too high for Forrest. He's able to pick it up right-hand side of the penalty area. And now it's Ralston. Hatate back to Forrest wide on the right-hand side. Hatate at the right angle of the area. And back the way to McGregor. And now it's Taylor. Chip ball into the box, headed away by McKenzie. Ralston looking to get onto the edge of the box. Pollock's clearance is charged down by Ralston. Now breaks Jota's ways at the edge of the area. Stabs it to Hatate, takes a touch, shoots it, goal, and it's wide. And he's annoyed, he's down beating the pitch in frustration that he's not put Celtic 3-0 up. It stays at 2, 68 and a half played.
Brilliant play for Jota. That was much like the goal he scored the first game of the season. He cut across. This time he couldn't get his shot away. Lays it to Hatate, and you expect more for him in that position.
Yeah, you're just waiting for him to pull the trigger, Jota, aren't you? And look, perhaps it was on, you know, maybe got a decent angle here too, but there were a lot of red jerseys in front of him, and he's made the decision not to take it on. But you're right, you're expecting him to try to curl it with the right foot into the top corner. He doesn't take that, and eventually it's a poor effort from Hatate.
McCrory battling with Jota and coming out on top midway inside the Celtic half. Turns back the way you find Ramadani. Here's Clarkson out to McCrory on this near side. Leaves it for Clarkson. Watkins to his right. Clarkson finds Watkins, who wins the corner off Taylor. Down on this near side, right in front of the Aberdeen supporters. And Leighton Clarkson will take the set piece. Do Aberdeen have something in them to pull a goal back here and perhaps give themselves a chance of taking an unlikely point back from this meeting?
Well, I think that's what you're looking for. You know, a corner kick. It's Johnny Hayes with the left foot this time that's going to obviously try to curl it on top and cause that Celtic defence a problem or two. They've got enough height in there, Aberdeen, so it is a good opportunity for them.
Hayes takes the corner. Hart comes and punches well. Shinnie will keep it in play wide on that left-hand side. Takes a touch, looks up at the box, crosses in. Flicked away by Starfelt. There's a flag up on this near side, I think against Pollock. And that will be a free kick to Celtic. And Aberdeen are going to make a change with Shayden Morris coming on to replace Duke. So Duke's first season as an Aberdeen player is now officially over. What a good signing he's been, Willie.
He has, yeah. I think he's been disappointing this afternoon, I must say, but he has been a real threat going forward. He's got great pace, strength. He's very decent in there. You know, as the fans turn round and face us, why'd you bother buying a ticket, to be perfectly honest? The game has stopped. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to see your faces in the morning. What's that? I saw him having a conversation with one of the fans here.
Live on national radio here.
It's very jovial.
Yeah. The Celtic supporters doing what they call the huddle, of course. The Poznan is what it's known as elsewhere. And the supporters right in front of Willie were doing a little dance in front of the Aberdeen legend. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0 here, 71 minutes on the clock. As Hatate picks up at the edge of his own penalty area and rolls it back there to Iwata and out to the right for Ralston. Yeah, Duke off the pitch. And there will undoubtedly be interest in him. And he seems to be enjoying himself at Pittodrie, so Aberdeen will hope to get at least another season out of him. And O'Reilly comes up to the halfway line, inside the centre circle. 18 and a half minutes left. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. It's Hearts 1, Hibs 1 at Tynecastle, and St Mirren 0, Rangers 2 in Paisley. O'Reilly's pass cut out as he tried to find Jota. Clarkson out to McCrory on the near side. The challenge from Reo Hatate, and out it goes for a throw-in. Have to say, Matt O'Reilly, Jim, and I know Kyogo got the 2 goals in the first half. I think Matt O'Reilly and Reo Hatate have run the show today.
They're both excellent players. I mean, I love watching Hatate play just because he's so positive most of the time. Greg O'Reilly, for me, has been a wee bit much maligned this season at times because he's not been as good. He had a flat spell, but I'll tell you what, when Callum McGregor got injured and was out for quite a while, he was the guy that held the fort, and he was fantastic playing in that holding position. So for me, he's an excellent player.
Here comes Celtic again with Hatate. Side foot ball infield. Oh, does well. Looking to dig it out to Forrest, but Hayes read it, and Johnny Hayes gets there ahead of his old teammate and makes his way up towards the halfway line. Turns back the way. Rolls it to Shinnie. Now finds McKenzie. He goes back to his goalkeeper. Of course, Aberdeen here at Celtic Park for a 3rd time this season. Lost 2-0 on the opening day of the campaign, as Jim was mentioning earlier on, and then 4-0 in February. They were asked to come back here for a 3rd time. I don't think they were that bothered about it on this occasion, given they got St Mirren at home rather than away, and St Mirren have been much better at home as picks it up inside the box, almost managed to get an effort on goal, and then he eventually bobbled off into Hatate. He can't quite get it into his stride, works out wide right. Now it's with Forrest in a central area and the edge of the D. Awkward ball into the box is cleared by McDonald with the left foot, and out it goes for a Celtic throw-in over on that far side. The Aberdeen had been due to be going back to Paisley for the post-split fixture against St Mirren, and of course the quirks of the split in the Scottish Premiership have sent Aberdeen back here, and it's sent St Mirren up to Pittodrie for a third time this season. There are certain fixtures in Scotland that seem to be immune to that kind of treatment, as picks up by Iwata to Ralston to Forrest in the far side touchline. Little touch by O'Reilly, and through it comes. There's the third from Jota, but the flag's gone up and it will stay at 2, albeit they will be checking it back now. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. It stays for now 74 minutes. They'll check to see if that's a legitimate goal or if the linesman over on the far side, Gary Hilland, was correct.
I think the last touch for the Celtic player makes it offside.
Yeah, just the studio just confirming to me there that it's offside, so there'll be a quick fire check on this one, and it will stay at Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. But it's only 2, Willie, right now, and Aberdeen won't want to take a defeat. They won't want to take a 2-0 defeat, as the official decision is no goal. But it could have been more than, could still be more than 2. Still plenty of time for Celtic.
Yeah, there is, and they've dominated the game, but it's been a much more entertaining second half, Liam. I think you can see what Barry Robson's tried to achieve in the first half and frustrate Celtic. You know, but when you go 2 goals down, then I think you've got a responsibility then, if not before, to try and make this game a little bit more difficult for the home side. And the first half for me was disappointing because they didn't do that. In the second half it's been better, but it's still all about Celtic. It's about the quality they've got out there, the quick passing, the control, the vision that they've got. Too very difficult to pin down, and when you open the game up as well, it gets even more difficult.
There's a chance for getting it from O'Reilly, waited his time, shot blocked by Ramadani as Celtic pick up Ralston to Ralston again inside the area. He tries to bend it towards the far corner, and it's gone wide for the goal kick. I think they're claiming corner, Celtic here. Goal kick's been given, and on almost 76 it stays Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
There's a lot of tired looking Aberdeen players out there now. They've been chasing the ball for quite a while. They probably had a few drinks after the game the other night to celebrate their
well, I don't think they consider.
I've been told that they didn't. They celebrated it and they got together, but it was flavoured sparkling water, to what I hear. Listen, that could just be a rumour, Jim. That could just be a rumour.
I've seen very different pictures from the changing room the other night, Willie. Might have just been the one they had, to be fair.
Yeah.
As McGregor finds O'Reilly. Hey, listen, they did their job on Wednesday, and in this really good spring that they've enjoyed. Here comes Celtic springing into life again, and Jota's attempted ball with the outside of the boots cut out by McDonald, and Celtic have yet another corner on 76.5 minutes. 2-0 they lead. The closing stage is just about upon us here at Celtic Park. It remains 1-1 at Tynecastle. We'll maybe get an update from Brian shortly. They're about 7 minutes behind us in that one as the corner comes in, headed away by Pollock, picked up by Hatate at the edge of the box, and then Starfelt on the far side smashes it across towards the 6-yard box, cut out by Hayes, who does well against O'Reilly, and Aberdeen clear their lines. But here they come again, Celtic. Hatate to O'Reilly, level with the penalty spot. Now a chance just down at the byline to be pulled back by Hatate, off a defender, and yet another corner. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0 on 77.
Celtic are a joy to watch, but the Aberdeen goalkeeper has hardly the save to make, and I think that's something, you know, you've got to look to rectify at some point. You need to get more shots on goal, although I mean, that is good to watch, but you would like to see the goalkeeper make more saves.
Celtic are going to make a double change shortly. I think they might just let this corner kick be taken first though. And Matt O'Reilly's over on that far side. Celtic right as they attack the goal to the left. And it comes, free header, third goal! And Carl Starfelt bullets it in off the underside of the bar. It's been a dream league season for Celtic. the silverware again. 11 titles in 12 seasons, and Carl Starfelt might well have just iced the cake for season 22-23 for Scotland's champions. Celtic 3, Aberdeen 0.
It's a good cross into the box, isn't it? But he's free again. I think it's Matty Pollock he loses. Pollock's in front of him, should never be there, should be on the side of him, should be well aware of the centre-back being there. And although Pollock has been pretty much outstanding on that occasion, he's let himself down and knows that. He's sitting on his backside just reviewing the situation, and he should have been much more closer to the Celtic centre half. But a brilliant header from Starfelt, great delivery into the box, and just powers it over the top of Kel Roos into the back of the net to give Celtic that third goal.
Aberdeen are going to make a change. Jaden Richardson is going to come on. Celtic making the double change. O'Reilly and Hatate have come off, and David Turnbull has come on, and young Ben Summers, the teenager, comes on for his first appearance in the Celtic senior side at Celtic Park. He did play in the recent win over Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. So 3-0 to the champions as we approach the final 10 minutes. There's been another goal in Paisley. Rangers were 2-0 up last we heard. Chick Young.
3-0 now. It's Antonio Kolak scored the third goal. It was a corner on the right-hand side. It was headed on, and Kolak just almost on the goal line, just nodded it in to put Rangers 3 ahead in a very comfortable position. They scored that goal right in front of their own fans. There have been substitutions all over the place, Liam, on both sides, but it's Rangers who have a grip in this football match. They're leading St. by 3-0 with 12 minutes to go.
Antonio Cholak's first goal since the 8th of March. He's been out injured, of course, as Celtic pick up a free kick over on the far side. And yet again, it's a goal in the last 15 minutes of a game for Celtic. They've been full of them this season, some of them more important than others. This one has just embellished the scoreline. It's not crucial to the outcome of the game, but there have been plenty that have been. As Taylor picks up dead centre of the pitch, clips it to the left-hand side of the area, almost came to Jota. Pollock gets his head onto it, and Celtic have another corner. 88.5 on the clock, Celtic leading 3-0. Taken quickly by Turnbull, low ball back to the left angle of the box. Taylor drives forward and checks and turns back to Turnbull, and then the square ball for Ralston to Forrest, and then Summers nicks it out to that right hand side for Iwata. Ball played back the way to Ralston, and now it's with McGregor for Celtic, who are looking to further amplify the scoreline. Tony Ralston to Iwata, and now McGregor, and back to Starfelt, who enjoyed that goal. Did Carl Starfelt, his third of the season, as Jota picks up on this left-hand side. Chip Bowen's brilliant, there's another one! Oh, heads it home, free as well, at the back post area, and he nods it past a stricken Kelleroos. Celtic 4, Aberdeen 0.
Well, they're falling to pieces at the back. It's a really good goal from Celtic. You know, Jota down the left-hand side. You know, he's got it on the left foot. He's got to think about putting the cross in. He digs it out, but it's a great little dink ball. I think it's McDonald this time that finds himself in no man's land in front of O. Sneaked in behind him, and he delivers a header into the top corner. It's well driven, it's well headed. He's stretching for it all the way, but he's behind McDonald. McDonald takes himself out of the game. It's a poor defending, but brilliant striking from the big Celtic striker.
But Willie, you're allowed to try and stop the cross. There is absolutely no pressure in Jota. He never crossed it the first time, and it was like, you can cross it the second time as long as you don't beat me. And I think that, you know, that was poor. I think it was Morris just allowed him to cross it.
Well, Celtic Park rocking as Aberdeen prepare to get the game back underway. Alan Muir's got a problem with his technology here. I think he's coming back over for the second time since the goal went in to get some help from the fourth official, Gavin Duncan, in the 83rd minute. And Celtic doubling their lead in the last spell with those two headers from Starfelt and O, making it 4-0. And to be fair, Willie, I don't think Aberdeen can have too many complaints about the scoreline.
No, I mean, Celtic have been back to their best. They've been on fire. I think at times we're a little bit critical. But how can you be critical, really? I think, we're looking for them to be at the pace that they play at times, for the full 90 minutes. They don't do that. But when they do turn it on, then really, really difficult to contend with. Aberdeen, who've been very good defensively since the turn of the year. This afternoon they've been put to the sword, but it's been very good play from Celtic. Really difficult to defend against. And I think at least in the second half Aberdeen have given something to the game, but I think they'll go away from it knowing that there's still a fair amount of work to be done during the summer for Celtic. Then they'll be looking forward to the cup final and a treble.
Turnbull at the edge of the box, cut out by Pollock, and breaks Taylor's way, but they're going to have to stop the play because once again some more of that display pre-match has made its way onto the pitch and is being blown around the Celtic Park pitch. That's the most work Joe Hart's done all day, trying to pick up all those green, white and black bags that have made their way onto the pitch.
I think for Barry Robson, I think this shows him something that he's maybe not seen with one or two of the players. He might, it's like we've said the last few weeks with Celtic, Hans Postecoglou learns things about his players, and Barry Robson will learn things about some of his players a day, and I think that's not a bad thing.
He maybe learns things about himself as well, Jim. He's a young manager. He's new into the game. He's got really positive attitude towards it all. But at the same time, you come to Celtic Park and you're up against a team like this, then I think it is a learning process for him as well.
Couldn't quite keep that in play. Goal kick to Aberdeen. As I said, they're about 7 minutes behind us at Tynecastle. Certainly they were. Not sure how much stoppage there has been in the second half, but still one apiece. So Hearts edging their way ever closer to fourth spot. A draw is enough for them to secure fourth. Aberdeen had already secured third. It's a good job they had, because on the receiving end of a bit of a mullering here today. As O looks up, clips it forward, and Pollock gets his head onto it, but he was being fouled by Jota, and that's going to be a free kick to Aberdeen. I suppose the one thing for Barry Robson's point of view is 3 of the goals probably are avoidable today. The 2-3 headers there, Pollock and McDonald at fault, and Keller-Roos with a mistake for the second Kyogo goal in the first half. As Roos prepares to take this free kick. Let's get an update on how things are going in that final Edinburgh derby of the season. Brian, Hibs running out of time against the 10 men.
They certainly are. 10 minutes led, but I have to say there will be at least 6 or 7 minutes added on here for a serious injury to Chris Carton. He was carried off, and of course it's been all Hibernian in this second period. They've absolutely destroyed Hearts in terms of possession. 2 big chances, a Nisbet header just wide, then a Paul Hanlon header that was heading into the top corner, but Xander Clark with a magnificent save to deny the Hibs captain. But still one apiece here. 10 minutes plus lengthy stoppage time still to go.
4-0 Celtic here. We're in the final 3.5 minutes of the 90. Celtic have had 76% of possession. They've had 18 shots, 7 on target, 10 corners. Aberdeen 24% of the ball, 0 shots. Another disappointing display for the Aberdeen supporters. They've come here, they've packed out the away end, of course they have. As Pollock wins it off Jota. Forward up the line here to Richardson, back to Pollock. Ball towards Watkins, cut out by Starfelt, and out it goes for a throw into Aberdeen, run about the halfway line on this near side. Celtic 4, Aberdeen 0, 87 played.
I think you just want to get back up the road if you're Barry Robson and the Aberdeen squad down there. Did the right thing, and the guard of honour to applaud Celtic onto the pitch, but since then they've been well beaten, and Celtic are just preparing for the party now, isn't it? It's about these fans enjoying their afternoon, celebrating the fact that they've lifted the title again, and done it with a fair bit of style too.
Yeah, this has been the Celtic that we've seen for most of this season, indeed most of the time under Ange Postecoglou. Flick by Turnbull, Taylor battling for it down on this near side as Jota's little flick finds Turnbull, and now it's McGregor at the edge of his own box, back into it for Iwata, and they play themselves out of trouble so well there. Final 2 minutes of the 90. Aberdeen just trying to get out of here, having lost 4-0, but Celtic want more. Forrest to the edge of the area for Turnbull, takes a touch, tries to pass it back out, which he does to Ralston off a defender. Back in field for McGregor. Here's Taylor to the left-hand side of the box for Jota up against Richardson. Jota trying to hold off. Richardson claims he was fouled. The referee agrees, and Celtic have a free kick at the edge of the Aberdeen box, left of the D.
Well, a wee chance, I think, surely for a strike at goal on this occasion. 4-0 up, looking to enjoy their afternoon. Jota, I think, fancies it. It's within striking distance. I think Richardson was rather silly and pulling the winger's jersey in the first place and giving the free kick away. Another opportunity for Celtic to rub it in here at Celtic Park.
Jota is the only candidate for this free kick as we tick into minute 90. So 1-1 it remains at Tynecastle. Full coverage of that. BBC Radio Scotland 810 medium wave on Extra and on digital. We will be mopping up the post-match stuff here at Celtic Park, which will include the trophy presentation on FM and on sounds. 3-0 Rangers lead at St Mirren.
I'm not too sure about that wall. Doesn't seem to be very solid. For me, there's a huge gap in it. Maybe Roos wants the gap there, but I'm not too sure. It's not looking too good to me.
Here goes Jota. He scored a wonderful free kick in the Bernabeu this season against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Sizes up Kilarus's goal. Oh, it's come off the bar. The rebound's there, low, and it's a fifth goal. Oh, Hugh pops home his second, despite the best efforts on the line from the Aberdeen defender. Oh, Hugh scores his second. He was in the right place after Jota's free kick came bouncing back off the bar. And Celtic will celebrate the silverware very soon. And it's been a 5-star display from the champions. Celtic 5, Aberdeen 0.
Well, it has been, it's a well-taken free kick. Right foot from Jota over the wall. For me, the wall's not set up particularly well. Roos gets over it. I think it comes off his hand, but after it's hit the crossbar and it falls for O, who follows it in. It's a good run from O. He was in the wall. And then he's barreled round and he's made that run towards it, just trying to take any opportunity that might fall his way, and it certainly did fall his way, and he buried it into the back of the net.
I don't think the wall changed the free kick, Willie, but what amazed me with the wall was only 3 in it for that position. You'd expect about 5.
I just don't think it was organised, and I'm not suggesting that it gave Jota the opportunity to actually hit the crossbar with it, but it should be better organised than that. He's just went straight over the 3 that were in it, so it's well struck.
Yeah, it just looks small.
Yeah.
Well, stoppage time, couple of minutes added on at the end. We're into that. And Celtic have ripped Aberdeen apart today. A real reality check for the Dons after the high of Wednesday night. In terms of Celtic Aberdeen matches, though, this one is quite clearly as meaningless as they get. Then Summers showed a little bit too much to Ramadani, and then he brings down the Albania international, and that will be a free kick to Aberdeen here in stoppage time. Ben Summers there, Jim, coming on. He's eager to make an impression quite clearly. He's been chapping on the door of the first team for a while.
Yeah,
he's got that distinctive red hair, and of course, as the final whistle goes here, he actually played Tommy Burns in a movie as well, in a story of Tommy Burns' career in life. A late Celtic legend. Plenty modern day Celtic legends out there, because they've signed off the Premiership season with an emphatic victory over the third place side Aberdeen. 5 goals unanswered today. Kyogo with a double in the first half. The first one after good work by Taylor. The finish was excellent. The second one, Callum McGregor, shot from just outside the box, saved by Roos, into the path of Kyogo, who dinked home the rebound to make it 2-0 at the break. And then 3 late goals. They've had plenty of them this season of Celtic. 2 of them from O, 1 from Starfelt, mean that Celtic on title party trophy day win by 5 goals to 0. Barry Robson will be very disappointed that Aberdeen finished the campaign on such a low as far as the results concerned, but they have done their job. They made sure that the 3rd place wrapped up before they came here. So it finishes here, Celtic 5, Aberdeen 0. You can hear the music starting already here. It's all over in Paisley. It's finished St Mirren 0, Rangers 3, a double from Passion Sakala and 1 from Antonio Cholak, mean that Rangers finish the season with a victory. St Mirren haven't had it their own way at all post-split, having reached the top 6 for the first time. The closing stage is underway at Tynecastle as well. 10-man Hearts have held out thus far against Hibs. Oda gave them a 1-0 lead, then Cochrane was sent off for the professional foul. And Kevin Nisbet scored from the edge of the box with a free kick to make it 1-1, but Hibs have not been able to capitalise on having the extra man. At the moment, there's still a good few minutes to play in that one. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening in that match at Tynecastle. Coverage continues on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, on 810 medium wave and on digital as well. But we're going to stick with Celtic Park here on FM and on Sounds and on bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. It's going to be all about Celtic, of course, shortly, but Willie Miller, a final word on Aberdeen. They'll just be delighted they got it done before the thrashing they received here today.
Yeah, without doubt, it'll be disappointing for Barry Robson, but he'll know that he'll not be judged in this game, but he'll also understand that there's a huge rebuild job required. Aberdeen have got to get better, they've got to get closer to both Rangers and Celtic. Finishing 3rd that far behind the Old Firm is not acceptable. I don't think, I hope that he gets a little bit of funding and support from the board to go out during the summer and make that squad stronger and get these loan players signed up and get a bit of stability to the club. So a lot of work to be done, but this isn't a day really to speak about Aberdeen. 3rd place is fantastic in the turnaround this season, but it's all about Celtic. It's about the champions, isn't it? It's about these fans enjoying their afternoon. Thoroughly deserved it. What a performance today. It was a magnificent watch, to be perfectly honest, watching Celtic play the way they're capable of playing. Not that false Celtic that perhaps has been in show in the last few weeks. This is a real Celtic going into the cup final in fine form.
Yep, they'll be taking on Inverness Cali Thistle across the city at Hampden Park next Saturday, 5:30 kick-off, full coverage across BBC Scotland. The stage is set down there, literally the plinth to the left where the trophy will sit on the table, where the players will pick up their medals and will then walk onto the stage, and eventually Callum McGregor will get his hands on the Premiership trophy for the 2nd time as Celtic captain, having replaced Scott Brown in that role at the start of last season. Jim McInally, they've been streets ahead, I think, this season. The one thing I would say is Rangers have actually ended up on a very high points tally. 92 points they've finished on, which for a runner-up is a pretty incredible number of points they managed to get on the board there. But Celtic, they eventually finished 7 points clear. And to be fair, that was because they took their foot off the gas, that the gap wasn't bigger than that. But they have been streets ahead, haven't they, when you look at those Old Firm games in particular?
Well, I don't think they've been streets ahead of Rangers, to be fair. I mean, I think they've maybe got a wee edge in Rangers at the minute. I don't think, obviously, the gap's massive, and it's one of these things that Celtic won't kid themselves on, that they don't need to strengthen their squad and they don't need to get better players in, because Rangers will throw another challenge into them, and they need to, Celtic will need to keep improving, because Rangers will keep at it. But listen, this man's come in here, they were in a terrible situation, nobody wanted to know them, and they've been outstanding, and if he gets his treble next week, he's well due it, that's for sure.
I'm hearing there's 9 minutes of stoppage time being awarded at Tynecastle, so Hibs have got 9 minutes left to try and win that game and get 4th spot and take it from under the noses of the Jam Tarts, who are currently 4th, 2 points clear of Hibs, 1 apiece. Hearts, remember, down to 10 men. Alex Cochrane sent off in the first half, so 1-1 going into the very closing stages there. Willie, Jim doesn't think the gap between the top two is necessarily that big. I think certainly when I'm talking about streets ahead, perhaps I'm thinking more of the style of football that Celtic play. They're very easy on the eye. You talked about it there yourself. And they're deserving champions.
Oh, without doubt they're deserving champions, but I think Rangers have sorted themselves out. You know, new managers come in, Michael Beale, and you know, he's certainly turned things round. He's made, you know, small changes. I would imagine that there'll be, you know, huge changes during the summer transfer window, and I think you've got to look forward to, you know, the Old Firm again going head to head to lift the title. But I think the other teams, other big teams, as we would call them, Aberdeen, Hearts and Hibs, have got a responsibility to do better. You know, we can't accept, I don't think in Scotland, I don't think these teams should accept that gap can exist. They've got to try and close that gap. The only way to do that is to improve their squad, you know, improve the quality of the football that they play as well, and make it more of a challenge. I mean, here's 3rd spot being really put to the sword with Celtic this afternoon. 5-0 is not a scoreline that should be accepted, and you would hope that the two Edinburgh sides and the Aberdeen club would make every effort that they possibly can to close that gap. You know, but Celtic have been the better team this season. They've played the better football. They've always looked the more likely to take the title. Although I think Rangers, you know, have done well recently under the new manager. That change has made a huge difference. And I think getting into next season, it's a little bit unpredictable. You know, Rangers have still got to, you know, strengthen probably quite substantially. Whether Celtic need to do it is another case, but Rangers really do have to do that, in particular up front. If they can do that, then it could be an exciting season and not to play for between the Old Firm, but it is between Rangers and Celtic. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the responsibility from the other three is to try and close the gap.
The gap is absolutely ginormous. Celtic finish the season on 99 points, Rangers 92, and then it's a long old way till you get to Aberdeen in 3rd. 57 points the Dons finish on, and a -4 goal difference as well. Celtic's goal difference, in contrast to that, is +80. Still 1-1 at Tynecastle. They're about halfway through, I think, the injury time that was added on at the end there. 1 apiece between the 10 men and Hibs, who have to win that game to finish 4th. And with that, it would be guaranteed Europa Conference League qualifiers for Hibs. But at the moment, it's Hearts who will be joining Aberdeen. At that stage, of course, Aberdeen's prize could become a heck of a lot better if Celtic beat Cali Thistle in the Scottish Cup final next week. That will mean Aberdeen will go into the Europa League playoff. Some big names would have to get past if they wanted to make it into the Europa League group stage. And the likes of Slavia Prague lying in wait at the moment. Astana, who we have seen Celtic play so often under Neil Lennon, and then Brendan Rodgers. Celtic seem to have a residency in Kazakhstan for a while during those Champions League qualifying matches against Astana. No need for the qualifiers for Celtic next season. They go back straight into the groups. Aberdeen would be guaranteed, if Celtic win the Scottish Cup, at least Conference League group stage football through until Christmas. Celtic go into the Champions League groups, second year in a row that'll happen. They will be bottom seeds though by the looks of things. Newcastle United, Young Boys also down to be in pot 4. You've got the likes of Man City, Barcelona and Napoli in pot 1, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Leipzig in pot 2. The draw on the 31st of August. The Celtic players are about to make their way back out onto the pitch. But before that, a Celtic treble winning manager is going to take the trophy out onto the stage. Martin O'Neill, who brought the trophy into the stadium earlier on, comes out and shows it off to the Celtic supporters. Of course, he did this several times himself. A Celtic boss securing that treble in his first season as the 9-in-a-row Rangers team disbanded and Celtic began to exert their authority on the top flight here. And Martin O'Neill places the Premiership trophy on the table over on the far side, and he goes to make his way to stand beside the contingent from the SPFL, including the Chief Executive Neil Doncaster, who's here. And Callum McGregor will lead the Celtic players back out onto the pitch, and now they will be able to officially celebrate title number 53. Callum McGregor and his manager Ange Postecoglou peel off to the right. We're going to hear from them in a moment. The rest of the Celtic players peel off to the left. They're all there with the green and white hood shirts on. It's a big squad, and there they are. They move off to the left, and the UEFA Champions League anthem bellows out from the PA system here, which I have to say is absolutely ear-splitting. What a noise inside this stadium. We'll be hearing that at least 3 times next season as well here. So Callum McGregor's going to be first up, the Celtic captain, one of the modern day greats of Celtic Football Club, their skipper, Callum McGregor.
Of these guys.
Yeah, firstly, like you said, playing a team who's so aggressive, the way we try and play football, it's an absolute pleasure to work with these guys every day, led by the manager and led by this unbelievable support.
And of course, the honour that you now get for winning the championship again is taking them back into the UEFA Champions League.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants. It's so important to this club to be back at the elite level Champions League. For the supporters, for the club, it's so important, and we can't wait to have another crack at it.
And we can't wait to see that happening. Let's give it up for Callum McGregor.
There's Callum McGregor, the Celtic skipper. We'll be hearing from the Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou in a moment. They're just about done at Tynecastle, deep into a 9th minute of injury time. It remains 1-1, and Hearts are heading for 4th spot. I'll confirm that just as soon as I get confirmation of the final whistle at Tynecastle. Here's Ange Postecoglou.
Champions again. And we're champions again because of this incredible group of players. Brilliantly led by our skipper, Callum McGregor. Champions again because of this unbelievable group of people working behind the scenes as staff. Outstanding. Champions again because of you. In the words of the immortal Tommy Burns, you are always there, always. Champions again, because I am a lucky man. And we got one more to go. We never stop.
The It's all over at Tynecastle. It's finished 1-1. Hearts finished 4th and have guaranteed themselves Europa Conference League qualification. 3rd qualifying round. Potentially, if Celtic win the cup. There's some amount of Celtic staff up there on that stage. All the players, save for Callum McGregor and the manager who we just heard from there, have got their hands on their medals, and they're about to get their hands on the Premiership trophy as well. 4th piece of silverware as Celtic boss Franz Postecoglou. It's an 8th title personally for Callum McGregor. 2nd as Celtic captain. He's got the trophy in his hands now as well. And they will, I'm sure, count that down as they normally do. And Callum McGregor will be able to lift the trophy up to the delight of the 60,000 supporters inside the stadium. The champions for 22-23 are Celtic. The fireworks, the flares, the ticker tape, the lot. Celtic once again are Premiership champions, and Postecoglou will have the chance to lift a 5th next Saturday. His 5th trophy as Celtic manager, should it arise. Only 7 Celtic managers have managed that before, so he'd be joining an illustrious club. The treble, next week's target. Today, though, is about celebrating the club's 11th title in 12 silver-laden years. It's been an outstanding title defence. They've been top almost from the off, scoring all those goals along the way. 3-goal victories, 4-goal victories. There's a 5-goal victory today. They rattled 9 unanswered goals past Dundee United at Tannadice way back in August. 32 wins out of 38 games. 114 goals scored along the way. And when you think back to 2 years ago, a goalless draw in Scott Brown's last game for the club at Easter Road. They lost their captain, they'd no manager. And most importantly of all to the supporters of this club, they had no trophies. Less than a month later, Ange Postecoglou walked in the door here for the first time. It was a difficult old start, out of the Champions League at the first qualifying hurdle. He lost 3 of his first 6 league matches. He's only lost 3 league games since then. He has made a remarkable impact. An indelible mark has been made in Celtic's history by their current manager, and how they hope he won't be taken away from them this summer with alleged interest from Tottenham Hotspur. You heard him speak there, he spoke so passionately, and I think Jim McInally, he enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think he's saved that up for a couple of weeks, that speech. And
I think he's rehearsed it, do you?
just a touch. But, it'll be interesting to see where his mindset is if he does get that offer to go away from here. It's a special place.
There he is lifting the trophy. Broad smile on his face. Little wonder.
Sometimes people buy into it, clubs like this, and that might sway him to stay here if it comes to that. But as I say, you need to know the man to actually know what he's going to do eventually. But certainly, if he does leave here, he's had 2 fantastic seasons, that's for sure, and turned the club back round again.
And Willie, it's not just about the trophies that he's already beginning to accumulate, the winner's medal he's got round his neck again today. It's the style with which they're doing it and where they came from to get to this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's turned the club around and he's turned it round on his own, Liam. That is a really surprising aspect of it. He came to Celtic, he hasn't insisted on a huge team coming with him. He's bought into the staff that was here. He's just applauded the staff that's gave him the support to be able to lift all these trophies that he's lifted, and obviously this one this afternoon. I think it depends if he's looking for a challenge or not, Jim. That's what I think. I think Does he feel as though there's enough challenge left here at Celtic Park, or does he think that there's a bigger challenge out there for him? You know, he's a lone drifter, isn't he? So there's nothing to stop him just moving whenever he feels the move is right. It's down to him, it's down to his own mental state. But what an inspiring speech that was, the champion speech. It was fantastic. The fans enjoyed it, the players bought into it. I think I was inspired by it just listening to him, and I think he's that type of manager. He's an inspirational manager. He certainly gets the best out of his team. He gets the best out of the players that he's brought over as well has been fabulous.
I was just about to say that Aberdeen has got Alistair Johnston to speak to down there, but the Canada international's been pulled away from him by a club official, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer before we get some reaction to all this. I would have to say, Jim, it would be very difficult if you're the manager here to walk around here and see these packed stands, the scarves being held up in the air and the celebrations. It would be difficult to walk away from that, wouldn't it?
I think it is. I mean, it's one of these things. Look, at the end of the day, Brendan Rodgers went about kissing the badge and you know, shouting 10 in a row and all the rest of it, and then it was away first chance he got, really. So that's what I'm saying. It's knowing and that's not being critical of Brendan Rodgers. He went to, I mean, for me, he always wanted to get back and prove himself in England again anyway. But you know, it's just the individual person, whether they buy into it and they think, right, this is where I want to be. Look at Callum McGregor, for instance. You're not telling me Callum McGregor couldn't have left here and went and played somewhere else like Stuart Armstrong did or whatever, but you know,
Ryan Christie's another one.
Yeah, so he's chosen to stay here, win medals. I'm sure he probably still won't need to work again when he retires, and we've got a hell of a lot of medals at the end of it.
He spoke well too down there, Callum McGregor. He's an East End boy, he's from the East End of Glasgow. This will mean a lot to him, it'll mean the world to him, and what an impact he has made. He made his debut in a Champions League qualifier in Iceland. Ronnie Dyla and John Collins gave him his debut back in 2014. Scary to think it's almost 10 years since Callum McGregor made his debut for Celtic after that loan spell at Notts County, but he's led this team spectacularly well. Big shoes to fill in Scott Brown, but he's done that with aplomb, hasn't he, Willie? He really has. I mean, you know what it takes to be a successful captain of a side, and to fill Scott Brown's
that's right,
role here.
You know, you're taking over from such an icon of this team. And you've got to, you know, try to inspire the players round about you. And I always think, as a captain, the most important thing is your performance. Yeah, you've got to deal with everything that comes your way. You've got to deal with the fans, the media, etc. You've got to lead by example. But it's about the performance on the park. And that's where Callum McGregor comes into his own, isn't it? I mean, he's always there. He's always available. He's a top-notch player. He's got quality, international player as well. I mean, he's now playing at the very top of his game, and he's been a magnificent captain for this club. He's led by example. He's lifted trophies. He's lifted trophies after trophies. He's been involved with the club. He's a supporter of the club as well. You know, it's very close to his heart, and he's just led as an example to anyone out there that wants to know how you should be as a captain of a top club.
Just a reminder then that finished 5-0 here. Celtic beating Aberdeen. 2 from Kyogo in the first half, 2 from O in the second half, either side of a Carl Starfelt header, which made it 5. Of course, the second O one making it 5. 1-1 it finished at Tynecastle. Yutaro Oda with the opening goal. Alex Cochrane sent off just before the half-hour mark. Nisbet scored from the resultant free kick to make it 1-1. Hibs needed to win the match, though, to finish 4th. They couldn't find a way to win it. So it's Hearts who finish in 4th spot. And Celtic will begin to turn their attentions to next week's Scottish Cup. It finished 3-0 to Rangers at St Mirren. So they finished their season with a victory, and we will turn our attentions shortly to the bottom 6 matches on Sunday Sports Sound tomorrow. So the Celtic winning 5-0 and lifting the trophy here at Celtic Park. And Aberdeen busy down there trying to find some interviews for us here on Sports Sound. I'll hand you back to Kenny in the studio.